What up, what up, what up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. One in the chat, let me know if y'all can hear me good. Is it too loud or is the sound good? Let me know in the chat. Put a one in the chat if the sound is good. Let me know what you guys think. Alex, shout out to Alex, Jeffrey Woodland. I made a mistake and put you guys in timeout. I'm so sorry for that. I was trying to time out this other person for spamming. Please do not spam the stream. Please do not do that. All right. So I put that person who was spamming in timeout, and I made a mistake and timed out Jeffrey Woodland and Alex. I do apologize for that, you guys. I think you timed out for like 5 minutes. So I do apologize for that, but please do not spam the chat. That's not good. All right. Shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all can hear me good? Y'all can hear me good? Okay, good, 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 good. So the sound is good. What's going on? Happy Tuesday. Good to be back. Good to be here. Glad to see you guys in the building. I appreciate you guys as usual. As you come in, make sure you hit the like button. It is super, super important to hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the building. Jeffrey Woodland, Alex in the building. Sorry for that, you guys. Ryan Wedlow, Lorenzo Redmond, what's going on? Just Me Q, what's going on? How are you? Successful in MD in the building. What's going on, Successful MD? Kevin from Brooklyn, what's going on? Kevin from Brooklyn. Future King, what's going on? Demetrius Sessions, thank you so much for being here. Kennard the DJ, or Kennard the DJ. Hope I'm saying that right. Larry Norman, Hustle the Great. Preston Gore, hey Miss DeeDee, salute to you and everyone else in the chat. Salute to you as well. Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate everybody. Queen of Vibes, what's going on, Queen of Vibes? Queen of Vibes says, finally here early. All right. David Morrow, what's going on? How are you? AT. Shout out to all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all so much. You guys see the title. Now listen. I don't know if I'm pretty sure y'all are familiar with Cooley from the new No Fugazee podcast, right? Are y'all familiar with this channel? And I've watched this channel quite a bit, right? So I had to give my 2 cents on what I'm seeing, but in no way, shape, or form am I like trying to bash anybody. I don't do that. I don't do that. I just give my opinion. That's just it. I like to watch and support channels that I like, and people who speak on the things that that I like to hear. And also I watch other channels that who have content that I don't fully agree with, but I respect people who get up and put themselves out there, because it's not an easy thing to do. Let me just say that. It's not an easy thing to get up and be a content creator on a daily basis. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's a lot of scrutiny. And to me, the scrutiny, I get scrutiny, I get a lot of scrutiny that you guys aren't privy to. But I realize that it comes with the territory. I've had people question my marriage. I've had people question a lot of things about me, but I do realize that that is what comes with the territory, and I'm all good. As long as you're not slandering or, trying to dox and those things, or do things that are illegal, because we have things in place for that. I'm fine, because I know that it comes with the territory. I know people are going to have opinions that agree with me, and I know people are going to have opinions that disagree. And I think that is all a part of the experience. And if you are someone who is on social media with certain views, you got to understand that not everybody is going to agree with your views. Everybody is not going to agree with you. So people are going to have difference of opinions, and and as long as they're being respectful about it, then you got to accept the good with the bad. You can't accept everything all good. And when people, if somebody come against what you're saying or don't like what you're saying, you resort to shaming and things of that nature. That's where I think it goes a little left for me. So I just wanted to say that. I wanted to say that. And Just Me Q says, I love the accountability. Thank you. And I try to be fair. You know what I'm saying? I try to be fair because I always say, listen, we're human beings. I'm human. I'm not perfect. You know what I mean? People make mistakes, but you got to be willing to own up to it. You know, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Keep it moving. I think people understand that better as opposed to someone who comes off as if they're always right. You know what I mean? If you're always right, you can never be wrong. You can never be questioned. You know, you just got it in the bag. That's BS right there. So I don't rock with that. I think I can accept the person's differences if they're being accountable. You don't know, I can respect you. Because as long as you're respecting me, I respect you. And that's where I just wanted to put that out there because that's the place where I'm always coming from. But I do have an opinion. And that's why I have a channel. That's why I have a space or created a space so that I can say what I think. And that's just what we're all doing. We're all giving our opinions, and some are giving their experiences with the hopes of somebody maybe taking it and using it to benefit themselves. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the place I'm coming from. And I just wanted to put that out there just so, you know, those who may be watching and don't know what my platform is about and how, you know, I come across, that's for that. So we're going to jump right into the content. I definitely want you guys to chime in. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. But I'm going to go ahead and start with this. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go ahead and start with this clip here because I talked about this already, but I want to reshare it to kind of let you know where this all started from. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and play this clip right here. So you guys already saw this clip. This is where the controversy started. So let me just go play it again for you guys. Hit the like button, y'all.
Women just don't qualify for the top tier men, and that is the truth.
Do you believe you're a top tier man? By what standard?
I'm 6'4". Only about 8% of the entire world is 6'4". I make well over 100K a year, and I'm black at that. If you add that on, so just if we're speaking about those figures, the things that women are attracted to, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I'll let you do the math.
All right, before we go, here's your math saying.
The conversation and the words that are coming out of the mouth of someone like you, I would never consider top tier. A top tier man is also a man that is extremely desirable by way of his character. A top tier man is a man who displays a certain level of intellect that allows him to consider other people. A top tier man, they lead with love, not with dictatorship, right? They don't want to control their woman. They want to gently lead their woman. A top tier man creates space for a woman to feel good about herself. A top tier man supports the dreams and the ideas of a woman. A top tier man prioritizes a woman. A top tier man is in leadership and working as hard as he is to give the woman the life of her dream.
And with all that stuff that you just said, that was just womanese talk.
Womanese is also 6'4", black, attractive. I don't know too many women in my circle who desire 6'4" men. So we're all right.
Modern day women just don't qualify for the top tier men.
All right. So what's y'all thoughts on this clip? I played this before, but you know, and I think y'all kind of gave y'all thoughts on it. So this is where it started. And I have a couple of clips of Cooley, you know, explaining himself because I wanted to make sure I put that in there. But this is where it started from. And, you know, while I think what he's explaining as a top tier man, he said they kind of edited, which I'll show you in a second, a little bit what he had to say about that, how they edited out to make him look bad. That's what he said. But whether they use top tier, high value, whatever they use, you know, he still mentioned 6'4", you know, over six figures, you know, making over, you know, whatever. He still put that in as what a high value or top tier man or whatever you want to call it, man would be based on what a lot of women say they want. And if you've been following me for a minute, you know that I don't judge top tier men or men based on money or their height. I just don't. I wouldn't look at a man and look at him and judge him based on that and consider him a top tier man or whatever, because I think there's more to a man of substance is what I would call him than just your height and your money. So that's just me. That's just how I think. But I understand that a lot of women who I personally think are delusional know that this is, and we see it. This is what a lot of these women on social media, all across social media, say that they want. They all want a 6 feet. You got to be 6 feet, 6 feet, six this. You got to make six figures. This is what a lot of these women are asking for, which I think is delusional. And I don't think that that should be the standard for a top tier man or a high value man or a man of substance is what I'll call it. I personally don't think that those are the things that will qualify you for a man of substance, a man of value, a man that you would want to marry. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I differ because I don't agree with the women who say 6 feet. He got to be 6 feet. He got to make six figures. He got to make all that. That is not, in my mind, what is considered a valuable man. So, but I do get where he's coming from because that is what you hear women say over and over and over. And I think some men have bought into that narrative that, oh, this is what you gotta be 6 feet tall and you gotta have this and that, which of course I think there are a lot of valuable considered high value men or valuable high earning, however you want to call it, men who are not 6 feet and they may not make $100,000, but they're to me no less. They're not less valuable because they don't make over $100,000 or up to that amount of money. I don't think that substantiates you being of a lesser value. So that's my but I get where it comes from. But I will say, and I said this before, it was a little cringe when he said that because it's like, is that how you really think? And and he was like, well, not to toot my own horn, that was a little cringe. It was a little cringe, I will say, to say it like that, because it's, I don't know, it's almost like, and if that's what you believe you are and you get those outcomes, hey, I don't have a problem with it. But I did say before that was a little interesting. But anyway, that's how it started. And I have a clip of him explaining that because I want to make sure I get the 3 points of him explaining what people have been saying, because he got a lot of criticism. He has a lot of people supporting him as well, as he should. And he got a lot of criticism also because people are saying that he's a hypocrite. People are saying he's not living up to what he's been saying. And we're going to get into that. And I'm just going to play a few clips to kind of go through what people are saying, and then I'll give my 2 cents at the end. I'm going to play the clips of him responding, and then we're going to kind of give our 2 cents on it as well. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me pull up the other clip. Let's see here.
But you still make poor decisions.
Hold on. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And here we go.
But you still make poor decisions with your power. So when I see a single mom, right, I see a woman that made all the wrong choices and only prioritized how she feels. She's selfish.
Will you ever date a single mom?
I mean, single moms need love too. They can get a little recreational use only sometimes.
Wow. Do you think that single moms are damaged? Are damaged good?
Well, damaged goods. I believe that.
Now, I want to pause it here, and I want to only pause it because I want to make a quick point, and then we're gonna get to the rest of it. When the young lady asked him, because you guys probably have seen O'Shea, y'all have seen all these people responding and reacting to his videos and stuff. When that young woman asked him, would he ever date a single mom? Now, that's the part that stood out to me because he kind of paused a little bit and he was like, well, kind of jokey, like, oh, well, single moms need love too. But I would have thought, and maybe it's just me, maybe y'all let me know what y'all think, whether it's just my opinion. Our opinions are not going to be the same. But in that moment, that could have been an opportunity for him to say, my girl was a baby. My when I met my girl, she had a child. So she was a single mom. Not saying that you have to give people all of your business, but when you are speaking so wholeheartedly and matter of fact about certain issues, people are going to, you got to understand, people are going to look at your life. They're going to look at what you do. They're going to judge you. They're going to examine you. They're going to see if you are living the life that you're talking about. That's just what comes with the territory. So this is a clip, and this wasn't that long ago. And the woman asked, would you date a single mom? In my mind, I would have thought that would have been the opportunity to say, hey, look, my girl, when I met her, she was a single mom, but she's X, Y, and Z. She's not like this, or she's this, or whatever, just to kind of give a little context to support. But if you listen to what was being said, that would not have lined up in his points that he was making in that particular video. And that's all I'm saying. That is just that's common sense. That's why when I'm talking and I talk about marriage and I talk about the things that I talk about and relating, and I talk about the reason why I related to Kevin Samuels because of the things he was saying, because I saw it in my family. I saw it in my aunties. I saw it in my mother. I saw it in my immediate family. And so I knew I related to that. Also being married young, and being still in a marriage and raising kids with a husband and a family. I have a certain experience. I'm not perfect, but I have experience in that area, which is how I can lend my advice on it. Because even though everybody's situation is not the same, I can give you a little bit of my life that I've lived to kind of give women maybe a little bit of information that might help them and kind of deter them maybe from the mindset that they have, because if you want a husband, if you want a family life, well, I have it. And so I've experienced it for quite some time and still experiencing it. And I can give you a little insight of what that might look like. And if it can help you, it can. If it can't, oh well. But a little bit of you and your experiences does come out when you're doing this stuff, because if you have that experience, you can't help but to share it. So, but we're going to get into it a little bit more. Let's continue. I just wanted to point that out before we get too far. Let's continue.
I mean, she just said right there. What she say?
She just said yes, that was single moms are damaged goods.
Listen, I got you. With single moms, to answer your question directly, like I said,
I don't think it's about that.
recreational use only.
No.
Do you know? Recreational use only. Especially if you up in your ages in your 30s. Recreational use only.
When I tell you guys all these red pillars are scammers, this is what I mean.
Now, this is I've been Preach who's speaking on it. But before we get into that, Prime VA says, I actually found Cooley on TikTok back in 2023 because a Black woman was complaining about his wife being white. Then I started seeing his shorts on YouTube thereafter. And everything. And Prime VA, they are not married. That's his girlfriend. So they're not married. That's another thing. And, they're not married. That's his girlfriend. Just to be clear. But yeah, he has a TikTok with his girlfriend. And all of that, which is, which there's nothing wrong with that, but let's continue.
I feel like red pillars date single moms more than the average person. For a movement that yells and moans about single moms as much, that so many of them date these women. Why do you think these guys go either for single moms, 18-year-olds, or they try to import? You notice a pattern between all three of these? Mm-hmm. There's an update to the previous story that we were on. Please share this with me.
Brothers, this is why I tell y'all got to be careful about where y'all get y'all relationships / life advice from these guys on this internet, on these podcasts. Because yesterday I made a video about that Fugazee Cooley dude or whatever, talking about being a top tier man. I always kind of knew dude was a little buddy. But yeah, so here's the clip.
Don't qualify for the top tier men, and that is the truth.
Do you believe you're a top tier man? By what standard?
I'm 6'4", only about 8% of the entire world is 6'4". I make well over 100K a year, and I'm Black at that if you add that on.
That's why he said that. That's why he talked the way he talked. That's why he thinks he's a top tier man, because he's 6'4" and Black. This is why he's the trinket. He's the fetish. But this is the dude that y'all follow, fellas. This is the rhetoric that y'all subscribe to from hypocrites. A Black man playing stepdaddy to some white kids.
The way this motherfucker said that.
Now they funny. Look, I ain't trying to laugh, but I thought that was a little funny. I ain't gonna lie, the way he said it. But it's just me. Q says, I'm trying to figure out when Cooley said he was pro-black and didn't like white folks. Yeah, I didn't hear him say that. That's not my thing. And I don't think, to me, that's not the focus. Because I don't care who you date, who you marry. You find somebody that loves you and y'all love each other, make it work. I don't care what color you are, red, blue, black, green. For me, that's not the point. The point, I think, and I don't know if that's everybody. I don't know what's everybody else's point, but I think the point is, how did people come to this conclusion of saying he's a hypocrite? Because he speaks on, single mothers being recreational use only. I think that's what got people all up in arms, because he's saying they're recreational use only, which I'm going to play his clips as well of him defending himself because I have to. But I think it's only fair. But I think that's what people are saying. It's hypocritical to say single mothers are only for recreational use when he did admit and say that, his girl was a single mother and he was a single father, a single father, because he has a daughter, which he sets the record straight with that, because he has a daughter from a previous relationship that he raised himself. And when he met his current girlfriend, she had 2 kids, because she has 2 kids. So she was a single mother. And then he tells you when he's responding, giving his basically justification of, how his situation differs, which I get it, but I can also get how people can see it as hypocritical, because that's not something he led with. You know what I mean? He kind of led with, and he, focuses on single mothers or recreational use. He was very stern with that. But he gave no real context. And when that woman asked him specifically, would you date single mothers? That was an opportunity right there. That would have been an opportunity that he could have defended himself with also. Like, hey, I said I have, because once again, and he'll expound on it. If you have new followers, they don't know your situation. If you said, oh, my girlfriend was, she was a single mother when I met her at 25. There are people who may not have seen that, because that was, which he'll talk about. That was in, a specific video, and people may not have seen that, or may not know that. But if, my only thoughts on it is, if you're pushing something so strongly, and your life itself may look questionable to what you're pushing, but you have an explanation for it, which, like I'm saying, you don't have to go out and tell all these people all your business. That's not their business. But you do have an obligation when you put yourself on social media and you're pushing a certain message to individuals. Then rightfully so, people are going to want to compare your life, and they're going to look at your life, and if they see something that they're not familiar with and they don't know, then it shouldn't be difficult to expound on it and say, yes, or even just say that in the first place, because I think this would not have been an issue if he was to say, yeah, I don't think single mothers with kids, I think single mothers with kids, come on, single mothers with kids, what I'm saying. If he had said single mothers are, if you don't have any kids as a man, then single mothers are only recreational use, because I think that is what he's saying now. But if you have a kid and they have a kid, or they have kids, then it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But I could see why people feel the way they feel. But let's continue to play this, and then we'll talk.
So I'm not familiar with this cinematic universe. So I decided to look up a couple of this dude's clips, and it's just him ragging on single moms all day long and how they're not wifey material.
So if you are a single mother, single mothers normally don't have good character, generally speaking, because they chose the wrong man, meaning that they normally broke up their relationship. Single moms show the worst characteristic traits, to be honest. Okay, what single mothers show is that you're selfish, because you prioritize yourself over the kid. If you prioritize the kid, you would have worked through thick and thin to keep that relationship with the father.
A black man playing stepdaddy to some white kids with a single mother who was a BBL Becky. Mind you, getting her knocked up because she's currently pregnant, not even married to her. They've been together since 2017. and has yet to put a ring on her finger.
So Christmas is around the corner, and since we got a little mixed baby here, we're gonna see which Santa he chooses. We got a black Santa,
And I have the white one.
and let's see which one he chooses. Same time, don't cheat.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Which one are you gonna take?
Like all the boxes were checked. Cringy interracial couple content. She's begging to be proposed to. She's a single mother. All of these things that he tells you in clips like this.
As a single mother, do you believe you deserve a man in the top percentile?
I'm able to do everything else, whether or not I have a baby or not. I still can be a great wife.
Yeah, listen, single moms, recreational use only.
Do you like
Time out. Let's reverse it real quick.
No, keep it going. Keep it rolling. Keep it fucking rolling.
Looks like you're doing more than recreational use with her, buddy.
Talking about being with someone as recreational.
Clip. She's a
Keep it fucking rolling. Because Donovan Sharp, because I mean, with something about
buddy.
Let's reverse it real quick.
no, keep it going. Keep it rolling. Keep it fucking rolling.
Looks like you're doing.
So I wanted to pause it there just for a second, because I think so this is his daughter over here, you know, the girl that looks black. That's his daughter from a previous relationship. This is his pregnant girlfriend, and this is her 2 kids. And so and they have a child on the way. If you look on their TikTok page, these videos are posted on the TikTok. But if you go through all of the TikTok, which I mean, I think a lot of people were not familiar with all of this, because when you have and their TikTok, they have a huge following on TikTok, over 2 million, I think he said. The audience on TikTok may be a bit different from the audience on YouTube. So there's a different set of people for the most part who are followers over there versus a following on YouTube. And it's the same way when it comes to Instagram and Twitter and all of that. Usually the following is different. So it is very possible that a lot of people were not privy to this information. They weren't fully aware, because he does state that he's mentioned it, and he'll show that he mentioned it, but that still doesn't mean that everybody knew you had you were with a stepmom, a woman who was a step, no, you're a stepdad. Like, everybody didn't know that. So I think it was a shock for some, and maybe some already knew, but this is what the outrage was about, because she was a stepmom of 2. Those 2 are her kids. He has a child with her and 1 on the way, and this is his daughter from a previous relationship. So that's just what it is. So keep in mind, when you have a TikTok or Instagram or Twitter, it's not always the same followers. It's different followers, and people don't always follow you from one platform to the next. So it's usually different followers, just saying, just wanted to point that out. But let's continue.
More than recreational use with her, buddy.
Talking about being with someone as recreational. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, because that's what these guys talk about all the time. Hold on, that's what that Donovan Sharp used to say. That's not even his line. That's a Donovan Sharp line. Sure. This is all that same red pill shit.
I was a single mom. And yes, listen, I know single moms are bad and this and that and the other, but we all got to start somewhere. Don't commit to them.
To me, it's just the audacity of people. Like, you know what? You want to have this goofy eye yelling? That's fine. Go live that life. But you're not even living it. And you broadcast the fact that you're not living it. They're all scammers. If they're not all scammers, it's like a coin flip. Actually, that's not even true, because I'm being generous by saying it's 50-50. The odds are even lower than that. It's like skydiving without a parachute. You're probably going to land on a scam. I got no words. I got no words. You got no words. It's the audacity. I don't know how these people live with themselves. I don't know how they scam. But more importantly, I don't know how y'all keep falling for it. Y'all be up in these comments being like, ooh, woo, ooh, woo, king. Meanwhile, he going to ooh, woo with his single mom. And then he telling you and shaming you for. I feel like red pillars date single moms more than the average person. It's actually mind blowing to me for a movement that yells and moans about single moms as much that so many of them date these women. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just crazy how like, at this point, anytime someone tell me don't date single moms, I'm like, how many kids do you stepdaddy to? That's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say.
Do y'all agree with what they're saying? Do y'all agree with what they're saying? Let me know in the chat. Successful MD says you can be rich, wealthy, and a horrible person. That's true. Thank you for the super chat, Successful MD. Will Jones says, I think his points regarding dating and marriage are still valid, regardless of his personal decisions. People write dragging and hypocrisy, though. So you say the people are right with the dragging and the hypocrisy, though? Thank you for the super chat, Will Jones. I appreciate you. Yeah, I think. Listen, I follow Cooley's page. I like his content. I like the content. And I definitely hear him say, single mothers are recreational use only. So it was a bit shocking. And I knew he wasn't married because I've watched the content where he said the laws, and I remember specifically him doing in one of his videos or lives where he was saying that he had a girl. I knew he had a girl because it's like somebody was talking about he was talking about his girl would get up in the middle of the night and fix him something to eat if he wanted it. And I'm thinking, wow, that's a good woman. You got a good woman who will get up and fix you something to eat, because I don't see anything wrong with getting up fixing my husband something to eat. If he asked me to fix him something to eat at 3 a.m. or whatever, I'll get up and fix it. I don't have a problem with it. So I'm thinking that's a good woman. That's a good woman that who will get up and do something like that for you. That's a good catch. But then when I think he was asked about marriage, and he was like, nah, the laws have to change or something. And I understand it. I get it. But and I'm gonna speak on that a little bit more. But in my opinion, and I know the laws are crazy and things of that nature, and I know it's hard for men to trust women out here, women that you're dating, and women that who are potential gold diggers, or these modern entitled women who are only out here to try to get your money. I certainly understand men being apprehensive about dating or marrying women like that. But if you've been with your woman for a long time, and according to him, he said he met her when he was 25, which he'll explain. We'll get to that. And so you're with her and you're creating a family with her. And also y'all have a blended family, and you're creating building that family. To me, and just to me, if you know this is somebody you want to be with and you trust them and they're everything that you want them to be, because I've been married for so long, I don't understand not marrying that person. And I think that's where the disconnect for me comes in, because I understand somebody you're just starting out dating and you don't know, you can't trust them, and you don't want the chameleon to come out and you don't know what their intentions are. I get not rushing into that. But somebody that you know is a good woman, you're with them, you're making babies with them, why not marry her? She's the catch, right? She's the one that you accepted even though she had 2 kids. She was a single mother, something you vehemently speak against when it comes to other young men, specifically who don't have kids. The fact that they shouldn't date single mothers because they don't have kids. Even with that logic, still, you're still taking on some other man's seed. You're still taking on another man's, seed. So even though, he'll explain it in a minute, but still, for you to take on a woman and her 2 kids, she must be special. That's how I'm looking at it. She must be special to you. And it's not just the fact that you have a child that you're willing to accept her, because just because you have a child already doesn't mean that you would be willing to accept any woman, right? So the woman that you accept must be this special woman that you're willing to, even though she has 2 kids, she's what you want. She has what you want. So you accepted her. Why not marry her? And you've been with her a long time. She's all this good woman. Why not marry her? Because to me, God forbid something happens, the relationship does not work out. then what? Is she going to be looking to take child support? Is she's going to be, what if she leaves the relationship? I don't think that people will be looking at her as the good woman then if she chooses to break her family up and leave. Because after all, we don't know what happened in the initial relationship, you know. And I think he mentioned she has one baby father. What happened in that? Did she leave him? Was she married? Like, it's a lot that people don't know, and it leaves it open for speculation, is all I'm saying. And for people to have more of an opinion because they see it. They see what they see. So I just think, you know, it's still one of those things where you're like, why not marry her? Why? That's what I'm thinking. Why not marry her? Make her your wife. Make her an honest woman, because this is, you got what you wanted, and you have the woman that, you know, a lot of men are out here saying they can't find marriage material. The modern women out here aren't marriage material, and we're not going to wife these 304s up. Why would we do that? We're not going to wife these single mothers up. But I think it's a contradiction in there when you're saying, oh, there aren't any good women out here. But if you're lucky enough to find a good woman, why don't you commit and marry that woman? That's what I'm saying. Because then the argument that, oh, these women can't get a man to marry them because they're not marriage material and they're not this. But if you find marriage material, you're not going to marry her? That's where I'm coming from with it. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Successful MD says grifting is an art. It leads to money. It does. It does. Thank you for the super chat. So that's what I, you know, why is Mr. Hypocrite a repetitive baby daddy? You know, thank you for the super chat, Successful MD. You know, and that's what I'm saying. And you know, it just seems weird on one hand. And I watch a lot of, you know, people talk about, oh, you know, and even I talk about single mothers having delusional expectations. You want this high value, top tier, whatever you want to call it, man, but you're not willing to bring anything to the table. You don't want to do anything for the man. You don't want to fix him a sandwich. You don't want to be a good woman to him. You don't want to be submissive. You don't want to do all these things that men say they want. But Lord forbid you find a woman who is everything that you want, and you to the point where you're gonna make babies with her, create a family with her, and even accept her own family. And that's not the woman you're gonna wife up. I just find that, and that is interesting. I just find it interesting, to say the least. And that's interesting to me. You know, and if you don't think that a woman that you're with, she's not trustworthy enough, and she's not trustworthy enough for you to want to marry her, why would you create children with her? That's another thing. Because like I said, if she decides to leave, then what? She's going to want child support. This is when you see who you're really dealing with. You know, it's all good when everything is going the way you want it to go. But then if she decide to leave, and, you know, is she going to be that loving, good person who's not going to want child support for those children that you're creating with her? I'm just saying. So, you know, it is something to look at. I'm just saying, especially if you're talking the way you're talking. That's like me telling women, you need to be this type of man, a woman for a man. And this is what men are looking for. And you need to position yourself and get yourself together so this man can marry you, and you should value yourself, and you should not just be sleeping with a man. You need to require marriage. And I'm telling women that, and all the while just say, you know, I'm telling you to require marriage so that you can be married. And I've told y'all over and over, I'm married, been married 20 plus years. And then it comes out that I'm not married, right? I'm not married. And it is all a lie. Like, wouldn't y'all look at me like, you big hypocrite? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I would even consider that, you know, because and I'm not, you know, look, it's subjective whether you lie or not. I mean, I'm talking about when it comes to this case, he said he didn't lie, and people calling him hypocrite, and that's not the truth. But sometimes just omitting stuff and not really saying what it is, people can look at that as a lie. Because like I said, we go back to the clip where the woman asked him, she asked him specifically, would you date a single mother? He didn't say he was already dating a single mother. Now, whether he had said it previously or whatever, that's irrelevant, because she doesn't know that. And she could be one of those new followers that don't know or don't follow every video and all that, so she wouldn't know. So she asked him directly. He's kind of stalled. You could have just said, no, I got a single mother," but that would have contradicted what he was saying in that moment because they would have had some pushback. See, so you know, I definitely could see where people are coming from. Blue Exodus says another Derek Jackson. Oh wow, dang! Thank you for the super chat, Blue Exodus. Divine Photo says, since KS passed away, you have some people that's been yearning for the next KS. But the issue is some content creators take his message out of context. I do agree with that, Divine Photos. I definitely agree. I agree with that. Thank you for the super chat. I do see that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and I think a lot of people try to compare themselves to him. But we knew that Kevin Samuels was married once, right? Wasn't he married twice? He has a daughter from his first marriage, and then he said he was a stepdaddy to the second marriage, if I'm not mistaken, right? So we knew that. We knew that. He said to never do that again. He clearly said that. You know, he said don't do what like he did. So, and then he was clear about that. So I think in some instances you have to be clear because people, you know, if it comes to a shock or a surprise to people, what your real life seems like, yeah, they're gonna have some pushback. And I think you gotta understand. And the thing that I don't like when this stuff comes out and you know, I don't like the shaming, you know, the shaming tactics that people use when people realize something. I think you should come from a much calmer place because everybody don't know what's going on. And this is why I think personally me, and I'm just a woman talking because you know how that go. But I just personally think that you have to, if you're speaking from a certain place, you have to reiterate what's going on with you in a bit. You have to kind of let people know what is going on with you. Because if you are dating a single mother and you say single mothers are for recreational use only, yes, people are going to look at that. And yes, they're going to call you a hypocrite because that's what it looks like. Thank you, Divine Photos, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Let's continue.
Perfect. How do you look yourself in the mirror? How do you go home to your friend? How do you go home to your girl? No one you say, is it just a check you give her? Like, hey, bitch, I talk shit about you. Here's your payout. Like, why? It costs you nothing not to do this. You could probably still make a bunch of red pill points and not say this goofy ass shit. You know what I think it is? I don't think these kinds of guys can actually get the women that they want. So they go for women who are having a little bit more of a difficult situation or willing to accept more things. Why? Because, like, listen, remember, for some single moms out there, not all, but some, they're willing to accept a little bit more. Why? Because they want that companionship. Because people do judge them for having children. Their standards are lower. If this BBL Becky didn't have no kids, she wouldn't be with him. Why else would he get with a BBL Becky with kids if he could get another one? Why would he go in contravention with his own ideology if he could get the same type of girl without kids?
You know, look, he has a point because women have basically said they would not date the guys that they dated once they had kids. Women have basically said that they would not go for if they didn't have kids, they would not be with the guy that they're with. That says a lot about how they pick after they have the kids. Women have came out and said that. If they didn't have kids, they wouldn't be with the guy that they're with or go for the guys that they're going for. And women have said it over and over and over. Now it's time to get the corny guy. Now that you 2-3 baby mamas in, you want the corny guy because now you want a stable guy who's responsible and you want him to be responsible and stable so that you and your kids can have a stable life. A lot of these women would not, because look at the men who they had children with. Why aren't they with the fathers of their children? That's the question you have to ask. Why aren't you with the father of your kids? What caused that? And in many of these spaces, you hear men say, even Kevin Samuel said it, you need to work out the relationship with your baby's daddies. You need to work out the relationship with the father of your kids because you can't expect better than your baby daddy. How many times have we heard that? So, you know, that's what it is. But a lot of women, after they have the kids with Pookie and Ray Ray, then they want a stable man, a top tier, high value man to come in and take on them, their kids, and you know, the whole shebang. And so this is why you hear a lot of people say, no, that's not a fair deal. And I do agree that if you don't have kids, I don't think, because my sons, my sons are 6'2", 6'4", 6'5". They're tall, but I wouldn't consider them what they on these things top tier men just because they're tall. No, they're still young. They're still developing themselves. They're still building their lives. They're young. So I wouldn't consider you just because you're tall top tier, which, I'm just saying, but there's other qualities that you should have as well. But I certainly would want my sons. And at the end of the day, look, they're grown. They're going to choose how they want to choose. But I personally wouldn't want my sons with a woman with 2 and 3 children. I just would not, but I mean, if he found a woman that he wants to be with, and she had a kid, I still wouldn't recommend it because he doesn't have any children. So I do agree with that. I just wouldn't want that. I would rather you find somebody who doesn't have kids and y'all build your family and start your own family together. That's just how I see it. But once again, I can't control what they choose to do. I can tell you what I don't like, but at the end of the day, it's not my life. It's not something I would just, push them to do. No, I would not. C. Irvin says, even if he said he would date a single mother and has, would y'all think he is a hypocrite? Ask the people who says he's a hypocrite, because I think it's all about transparency, especially in these spaces. I think it's about being about what you talk about. If you know that you date single women, don't say, if you know you date single women, right? And you are looking to have a real serious relationship with them, and it's not only for recreational use, then say that. Everybody's not going to agree with it. See, and I think sometimes people say things to appease folks for whatever, say what sounds trendy. And I think if you're not living that, that's where the issue comes in. So you could say what you want, but push that. Hey, there are good women out there. There are men out here who say, this is, that man says you should be paying woman bills on day one. You think everybody agree with that? No, but that's his philosophy. That's what he say. So that's what he believe, I guess. But if you think that it's okay to date if a single mother, if you got kids, and she has kids, and you think that that's okay, then I think that's the message we should hear. We should hear, listen, there's nothing wrong with a good woman who has a child. Because I think if I was a man, I think I'm a good man, and I got a child, so I don't want to be disqualified because I got a kid. So I would be open to accepting a woman with a kid or 2 or 3 or whatever your limit is, if she's a good woman. And a good woman, if that's your case, you don't think a woman should be disqualified because she have a kid, because you got a kid. So if that is the case, you have to state that. You have to say that that's what it is, if that's what you accept. But if people don't know you to say that, and you're just saying, oh, recreational use for all single mothers. If that's what all people hear, of course they're going to have pushback when they see you dating a single mother. Because they're like, well, I thought she was only recreational use. You got to let them know all of it, not just bits and pieces. So yeah, that's what I think about that. You can't put a message out there wholeheartedly, just wholehearted to it. And this is this message is going out to people. And then you look like you're doing something else, which he's gonna speak to that. And so that's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? If there ain't nothing wrong if that's your choice. I don't have a problem with people's choices. Do you? There are consequences with your choices. That's what I say. And there are men who have been stepdads, and a lot of them didn't have great outcomes with that. A lot of them didn't. And they tell you, hey, I was a single father. They'll never do it again. It's like, nah, turn the kids, and you raise these children, and the mothers turn them against you, and then you got to be hit with, you're really not the dad, and all this other stuff that goes into it. And then it's a lot that goes into it, where certain men who have experienced it don't want to ever do it again. So they give their perspective on it. But if you are dealing with a single mother and your relationship is different, and you're the exception, as he said, then I think you need to let people know that. Because maybe there are some men who would think, oh, well, I met this woman. Yeah, she got a kid, but she's such a great woman. But apprehensive about dating her because he heard Red Pillar say, oh, don't touch a single mother. Maybe, he got to make his choice at the end of the day, whether you agree with it or not. But at least if he have that example, maybe he'll think twice. Maybe he'll say, look, I'll give her a chance because your situation seems good. But if you just strictly telling them, don't do it, recreational use only, they're going to look at it differently. Divine Photo says, like how not all men are dogs, not all single moms are recreational use. The issue is single moms have ridiculous demands like a childless woman. Exactly. And see, that's why I talk about that, because my thing is this, it all boils down to the mentality. I say it all the time. You as a single mother cannot come in and expect the world and have all of these unrealistic expectations for a man when you come in with baggage. Yes, you love your kids. The kids are precious and they're great, but they're not his kids. And I personally, I think if you are a man and you have a child, right? You got a child. I don't think that it's automatic that you should just accept the woman. I mean, I think it makes sense that if you have a child, you would accept the woman with the child. But at the same time, if you are a man and you have a child, if you choose not to date a woman with a child, I still don't see anything wrong with that. I just don't, because I know that is still going to be an extra responsibility on you. See, a man having children, when a man has a child or he has children, right? The responsibility is not going to be on the woman to take care of that child. It's all of the burden still goes onto the man. So I don't think just because you have a son, being a man, is you just because you got one child or whatever or two, the responsibility is still not going to be on that woman to raise that child and take care of that child and provide for them. But when it's the woman with the kids, the man is expected to provide for those kids, take care of those kids, be a stepdad to those kids. He's responsible for the whole nine. So I think there is a slight difference. You know what I mean? And I think if you have a son or a daughter or whatever, you decide, now I don't want to date single mothers, I don't see anything wrong with that, because once again, the bulk of the responsibility is going to be on you to take care of that woman's children or however many she got, her and everything else. So, and most women, to be honest, if they're going to be honest, don't really have a problem with men having children, because they know they're not going to take care of those kids. You gotta accept the kid, but you're not expected to come in and provide for these children like a man would have to provide for yours. So that's how I see that. Thank you for the super chat, Divine Photos. Let's continue.
So we talk about, I make six figures, this and that. I'm over this hype, this and that. But then you still end up with the single mom that you yelling about. I don't even believe you can get what you want. Your whole business model is predicated on the ability, you knowing the truth and you being able to get what you want, but you don't. Why do you think these guys go either for single moms, 18-year-olds, or fobs, fresh off the boat, or they try to import? You notice a pattern between all three of these?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
There's a standards that are lower, either because they don't have the connection, or they don't know better, or because their standards are lower because they know that they got a baggage that is right there.
Right. All of these people are more malleable, more easily controlled. That's perfect for dudes like these who got these insecurities, who are not good with themselves. That's why these guys go for it. Now that I'm thinking about the psyche, it actually makes sense that they go for single mom. They go for the most vulnerable.
The problem that I have with that is, why you trash though? It's the trashing part. That you go for whatever. I don't care.
That's money. That's the ideology. You want to make money off the scam, you got to say the right things. Did you not notice though that all the reptile guys have a bunch of girls? They always say 18, 17.
Yeah.
Barely legal.
There's a problem with that. Yeah.
Yeah. What do they talk about the imports? They're submissive. They do as they're told. That's the trend. So at first it didn't make sense for me why they went for the single moms, but now it actually does. The reason why is they feel like they're going to fall in that category. They're the most malleable. In observing them, when I can't understand why, because remember what I said when I said they're more likely than the regular dudes? It's like, why would that be? And then I thought about it, it's like, wait, regular dudes are not necessarily looking to control women. They're not looking to do all this other stuff. Or what was the other one? OnlyFans models.
Yeah.
Why do they go for those two?
Because the normal guys are not going to go for them because of what they do. So they kind of lower their expectations. They lower their standards because they know, like people that do porn as well, they lower their standards because nobody's really gonna get to them. So it's kind of not that they have to say yes, but not a people are gonna say yes to them.
A lot of people who do the adult work, they're a bit isolated socially because of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? They are very primed to find dudes who are not going to treat them well. Who are, these guys will go and date these women and then hold it against them that they do this kind of work. It's like, well, why would you date an OnlyFans model if you go hold it against her? But it's about that control aspect. There's that resentment there. How many times have I seen red pills with OnlyFans girls? And like they'll be in full-on relationships. They're not just banging these women. They'll be dating them. They'll go out to dinner. They'll introduce them to the mom. We spent New Year's together, and that's the time when he asked me to be his girl, to commit to him, and he posted a video of us on social media. He said to me, "I love you. I don't want you to be with other men." A few days later, he asked me to meet his mom. Take him back to Barbados, have some coconuts.
Listen, that's crazy to me because that what they're talking about is very contradictory. Like if you're saying these women are the bottom and they're just bad, don't touch them, and you shouldn't date them, you shouldn't take them seriously, as we say, don't take these women seriously, they're not worth it, and they're not this, and you're this top tier man, and you have all these options. Why would a single mother be your option? Why would the woman who's an OnlyFans or a skipper be your option? Why would you turn around and date the same women that you say are no good? That's interesting to me, and it's interesting to see this play out because we hear so much of men talking about, oh, don't date these single moms, and they're only just sleep with them, don't take them seriously. But then there are some men who are saying that and going and still sleeping with them and wifing them up or taking them seriously. So that's crazy to me. But it is what it is. I mean, what can you do? I mean, that people gonna do what they want to do, but child. Manny E, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, I think people need to get more comfortable with looking at themselves in the mirror first. Many are misguided based on trying to emulate others. Perfection does not exist. I agree with that, with that sentiment, Manny. I appreciate you for the super chat. No lies told on that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Classic Perspective says, my personal opinion, a man should create his own family with a childless woman. If you want to date a single mother, be a mentor. That's it. You don't have to be the stepfather. I hear your Classic Perspective. Overall, that's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's really your preference, what you choose to do, because as much as, you have people on these social media sites talking what they want to talk and saying what they believe or just what they want to say, people are still at the end of the day going to do what they want to do. But I think if you're not trying to preach or teach or tell other people what to do, and you're just out here living your life how you want to, then you have a right to do what you want to do. But to me, is you have a responsibility when you're on a platform, with a big following, telling others what you believe they should be doing. And if you're not following that, then yes, it could be looked at as hypocritical. So I think that's where you have an obligation, in my opinion, to at least stand on what you're saying. If you believe that, stick with it, stand on business, believe, and to the end, what you believe. I don't think you should flip up and change up because, if it's because it's trendy, based on the trend or based on what is popular or whatever. I think you should stand on business, stand on what you believe, no matter what it is. And no matter what nobody else thinks or cares about. You know what I'm saying? Like, stand on business. If you believe, if you okay with sleeping with single mothers or wifing them up, that's your thing. If everybody don't agree with it, they don't have to. That's probably unpopular, but if you stand on what you want to do with your life and what you believe in, that's what you stand on, that's what you pushing, I can't do nothing but respect that. I may not agree, but I can respect it. And I think that's the real difference, standing on business about whatever it is you agree, what you want to do for your life. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. If you want to marry a single mother, if you want to, date them, if you want to wife them up, do whatever do whatever it is you want to do, stand on business. Don't kind of play with it. You know what I mean? Put it out there, let people know. And if that's your beliefs, and if you feel like it's okay to tell the people, you know, that's what they should be doing because it's working for you, and you give them reasons why, what can I do? I may not agree, but that's your choice, that's your life, that's your business. That's why everybody have their own areas to talk what they want to talk. I don't agree with the Shira 7 lady telling women how to manipulate men. I will never agree with the Shira 7 lady telling women how to manipulate men because I think it's wrong. I don't agree with it. But she's still able to have her platform and say what she wants to say. If you can either agree with it or disagree, you don't have to accept it. You can accept it or reject it. You don't have, I don't follow her. I don't go watch her, religiously watch her content. I hear what she's saying, but I don't agree with it. So I'm not going to turn around and start saying, women, ladies, this is how you get you a high value man. This is what you do. You manipulate him. You manipulate him. You do this, you do that. I'm not going to tell you to do that because that's not truly what I believe in. I truly don't believe in that. I truly don't believe in women being gold diggers. I truly don't believe that you should be using men. I truly don't think that you need that a high value man is 6 figures and 6 feet. I think there are a lot of good men who have redeeming qualities about themselves that would be good for marriage, relationships, and a family. And it's, to me, it's not just based on that. I truly believe that. So I'm going to keep speaking on what I believe, but everybody don't believe the same. This is why I say you got to respect people's differences. But once again, if you're saying one thing and then something else pops up, people are going to look at that as a contradiction. They just are, because it's not adding up to what you're telling folks. And if you're only telling people this for clout or for money or whatever, that always comes out. It always comes out. It always shows. Thank you once again, Classic Perspective, for the super chat. So you got to stand on what it is you're putting out there, because there is always some way, somehow, people end up finding out or seeing something that doesn't match with what you're saying. Let's continue. I don't know. Let me see. I'm thinking about speeding this up.
You guys see the pattern? It is actually like, once you start connecting the dots, you realize these guys are terribly insecure. They do want control over their women, and that's why they go after the very women they tell you not to go after. That's my theory. What do you think?
You can't fuck other guys. I can. Why they fuck other guys?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about the psyche. Is this just about money? It's gotta be. I think people see red pillars. You know what this makes me realize? Red pillars really are simps. They are true easy marks. They're like old people for scammers. You know what I'm saying? They're the easiest marks.
Oh, you mean the audience?
The audience.
Oh, okay.
That's what they are.
Okay.
And there's no way you can convince me otherwise, because these guys are not even scamming you guys properly. Like, if you look at their books, if you look at their TikToks, you can see that they're not living none of the shit they tell you to live. The stuff that they're yelling, hey, you piece of shit, if you don't do this, you're a fucking beta. And you guys just eat. At some point, you just got to wake up to the fact that everyone's selling you a lie. Maybe this ideology is nothing but lies. I don't know. And people say, well, the message is still good. God damn, well, all the messages fucked up. All the messages are fucked up. This is the first one for me this year. Like, I'm actually like,
So we did a video in the updated. That's a good update. I got it, man. I ain't mad at it, because seeing you baffled is really a first for me.
Because listen, when you go outside, even if you look around in your family, there's some people who are together, and there are men who are with single mothers. Now, they might be called a simp, but there are people who are shacked up. There are people who dating single mothers. Some are marrying them. There's people who are in relationships. There are short men in relationships with taller women. Like, all the stuff that is talked about on social media, in real life, looking around in your family and other places, you'll see it happening. Like I said, I see big dudes married to decent looking women, and I see a couple of big girls who got them a husband. But when I see that, it's the husband and the woman, wife is big together. I see that. I see big people marrying each other, and so I think sometimes you can get caught up in this social media space and get so locked into it that you just think this is the only thing that exists, you know? And it's not outside of this, that, you know, yeah, the craziness is outside. It is. But sometimes you got to realize, look, there's, when you look around, you see all this stuff that they're saying is not happening. You see it, you know? So it's just interesting. But child, I want to know if I might speed them up to get to the rest of it. But let me see what else they're saying.
You know,
Hit the like button, y'all.
Because like, why should people commit crimes and then document their whole shit and post it on TikTok? I mean, maybe people are so attention starved they don't even care. They're not even hiding the fact that they scammers. And people are still going to support this guy. So why should he hide it?
So why should he hide it?
You know, pressure for him being exposed for scamming and basically defrauding, not living any of the stuff they talk about. They still got fan base. What is there to really say? If people want to get scammed, they go ahead. Thoughts?
A lot of them. There's a reason why black women don't like me. Because I just think my girl, I just want my girl minding my business, and this motherfucker goes on dunking on y'all. It's not me. It's him. It's not me. I'm not him.
You can't blame him.
Black single moms.
Is it just black single moms?
He's really ragging on what I've seen. I've seen whenever he's trashing the moms.
Okay, but you can only base on what he says. What do he say? Single moms are unmarriageable. Single moms are for recreational. So if he didn't say black single moms, he's with a single mom.
Okay. So you would think that it would make no sense. Like you're saying, you're trashing on single moms. Why are you trashing single moms and you're with a single mom? And then all the single mom that he's trashing on his videos are white. So the only reason why he would trash them but not her is really because she's white. Then if you look at the content that he makes, the content is very like interracial, black, white, black.
This is the reason why single moms lead to degeneracy.
Whenever he spoke and he said the things that make him a high value man, when he said,
and I'm black at that if you add that on.
I'm black. I went, yo, that sounds weird. I felt some type of way. And I look at all the content that he makes, and it's very corny, interracial, propping up like, yeah, I'm with a white girl, and when this guy says he's a trick and he's a fetish, I believe that what he said. I believe that he's right. He thinks as well that he's a when he said I'm a black dude because fetish. I'm the fetish. I believe he said that, and I believe he believed that as well.
I don't have anything to say to that. I'm not even disagreeing with that.
Yeah, cool. So it's not so much that he's dunking on. That's the reason why he's not dunking on single women. He's dunking on single black women. But I understand.
But I think that's to the conclusion. I think to answer, I forgot the person who said that earlier. Something about because she's white, and I think people are coming to that conclusion or thinking that because maybe when he says, which we're gonna get to that quickly because I'm not gonna make this too long. But he said he's the exception. He says him and his girl are the exception to the rule. But I think a lot of people are coming to the conclusion saying that, oh, he must be just talking about black women, not. So the exception is, oh, that she's white. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case for sure, but that's what people are saying. It must be the fact that she's white. So that's the exception. Because what else could it be? Maybe he, it's not, he's just referring to the black women, black single women are, single mothers are, recreational use only, but his single mother who is non-black, she's the exception. That's how a lot of people are taking it. Let's continue.
Okay. I told you before that, red pills sound like cosplay.
Gotcha.
The energy that I have is cosplay and emulating someone else. And it's the nerdy that I saw, and one I can see in another. You see that they are insecure because the minute something don't go well, they're yelling and they're puffing up chests.
Mm-hmm.
They claim they cosplay stoic. They cosplay all this, but when things happen or they get confronted, they lose it.
Yeah.
So the insecurity is definitely there. And they try to cosplay someone that is getting the chick, so they have to get a chick, but they cannot get the chick that they want, so they're gonna get the chick that they can get.
Yeah.
The next video that they put out was Well, this is how we use OnlyFans. They try to incorporate it in their cosplay to make it make sense.
Hold up. Well, they always talk about they want a good religious girl who's a virgin or whatever. But you're dating the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Even the ones that they end up wifing up are literally the opposite. They're
Yeah.
not pious. They've been fucking around and they won't fuck around after them too. So it's just interesting that pattern follows along with every single one of them. They date single moms or they date women who are incredibly promiscuous, which they frown upon. Neither of these things are bad to me, but it's bad to them. So it's interesting that pattern kind of repeats.
They Spider-Verse their flaws. Because
That's a bar.
they cosplay one thing
That's a bar.
and they want that other thing because it's really cool, but they can't get it, and they incorporate it in their cosplay, and they say, multiverse, yeah.
They a trip. Yeah, I think look, there might be some truth to it. Look, you know, at the end of the day, maybe cause I don't know, for somebody who seems so adamant about not dating single mothers, it is kind of odd that you would date one and give her babies. I'm just saying. And that's and even more importantly, if you see yourself as I'm not going to say top tier, high value. I'm just going to say a responsible man who does well and takes care of himself and has standards. You know what I mean? You would think that there would be something a little bit different that comes out of it. But if we're looking at other things that's associated with the woman, if she's just, other characteristics besides her being a single mother, maybe that's what played into it. She's a good woman and she's an exception to all these other, dingbats who are out here just delusional. She's not delusional. She's, all that, maybe that could play into it, but nobody knows that, they go by what they see. Let's see what they're saying here.
But anyway, that's all my thoughts on this. We'll cover some more time. But yeah, hopefully you guys learn from this and don't fall for the scam. That's it for me.
So again, it's still hard to believe, right? If you look at him in this picture with him, the white kids, and the lady, it looks like his daughter. I don't know if that's his daughter because they've been together since 2017. So that young lady looks a lot older than 7. So it's quite possible that
that's his daughter from a previous relationship. That's his girl's daughter. That's his girlfriend's sons. Or I think that's 2 boys from her previous relationship. That's their little baby that he's holding, and then there's another one on the way. So he cleared that up. Let's continue.
he had the child by another black man. So it is very possible that this guy stepped into this woman's life when she had 2 white kids, 1 mixed kid, and this lady was a single mom. And then he has refused to marry her, as you saw in that clip. Okay. But again, just to make sure that this is his family, because it could be, okay, listen, she's the white lady, she got her kids there. And like I said, these could be her nieces and nephews. I came across this clip.
What the fuck?
Okay, so we see that she's preparing, she sends her kids off to school 11 and 15, and now she's getting a break. So basically she has a 15-year-old, which is probably that young lady on the right of him, the 11-year-old, and the other little white young kid. So basically all of these kids she had before she met him. But I'm not surprised. We all see what Donovan Sharp did in the game. And again, here's another brother out here preaching something different, but got him a white lady. In this clip about his son, it's just cringe.
So Christmas is around the corner, and since we got a little mixed baby here, we're gonna see which Santa he chooses. We got a black Santa,
And I have the white one.
and let's see which one he chooses. Same time, don't cheat.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Which one are you gonna pick?
Which one?
Pick the white one.
Oh, that's mine. Oh, yeah.
So man, not only is bruh a sellout, bruh's a liar, bruh's a simp. You got this whole channel with this white lady that you basically made a single mom stop the show. She's already a single mom. You won't marry her, and you got her pregnant again. But you're on the internet giving dudes relationship advice when you were a straight sucker, man. Like, I just don't get that. And again, I'm not trying to be rude to the guy, but it's just like the guy's a liar. He's a grifter. And there's too many guys like that in the red pill community. And it's unfortunate because the bruh got some, he got some good points, but it seems like what he did was listen to what other guys were saying. I don't think he lived this life at all, because if he did, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing and just, set up a podcast and use his business strength and savviness to make money off of it. But he's really living a simp life. He has a whole family channel. They have like almost 2 million followers called Cooley and Sarah. You know what I'm saying? This dude is a complete sucker, man. So I don't know. And the girl does have a BBL. I'm just saying, right?
That is the truth.
Okay, so since
I
we're
don't care
speaking
about
about
going broke.
Well, he did come out and say that she doesn't have, that it's not a BBL. He does say that it's not a BBL. So he does say that. Successful MD says he appears to be a recreational baby daddy. Oh my Lord. Thank you for the super chat, Successful MD. Ronald White says the subject won't matter pretty soon, as we may get wiped off the planet thanks to Biden starting nuclear war. Oh my God. I heard something about that. That's Ronald. Thank you for the super chat. That Lord, child. Oh Lord, man. I don't even want to think about that, but thank you for the super chat. Lord have mercy. So he said she doesn't have a BBL, y'all, but I don't really care. I think we're gonna get to him making his points. And he pulled this, I'm play this clip first of him, defending himself. Here we go.
Girl does have a BBL. I'm just saying, right?
That is the truth.
okay, so since
I
we're
don't
speaking
care about going
about
broke or none of
so
that.
since
You
we're
believe,
speaking
do you
about
believe you're a top tier man? By what standard?
By what standard?
Mhm.
Well,
I'm
when I'm in a
interested to know.
relationship, I'm not speaking about myself, but
When I'm in a relationship, I'm not speaking about myself, but in a relationship, I'm not speaking about myself.
So, yeah, I see that. They edit that part out. So when I'm speaking, I say, well, when I'm in a relationship, I'm not speaking about myself, saying that I'm not a top tier man. And then I go ahead and give some metrics of what women are attracted to, meaning the prerequisites that women are attracted to. Women, y'all watch these podcasts. I watch mine. I watch all of these dating podcasts. They say, oh, well, he has to meet a height standard, they have a height requirement, a race requirement, an income requirement. They have so many high standards, right? So what I did was just give my percentile. And when I gave my percentile, which was speaking about a tier, the other woman then replied back and gave values. Tiers and values are two different things. Tiers is metrics based off of generalities. Values is subjective based off of, morals and virtues and stuff like that. So she thought she was spitting at the end of her little point, but she really wasn't spitting at all. She just went on an emotional rant. That's why at the end of it, I said that, oh, you're speaking womanese. Because even if she met a man that had all of those intrinsic values of being morally good and a good character, if he was 5'2" and broke, she wouldn't give him a chance. Anyone that watches this type of content, you know that when women just speak, they're speaking from an emotional standpoint and they lack rationality and logic. So she heard my point, but she was like, oh, wait, what? I don't really understand.
Well, it didn't seem like she didn't understand. And I think she did look a little, on edge. I will say that. She didn't look like she liked what he was saying. I will say that. And she took it there. But you gotta also understand that every woman doesn't come that way. Every woman, you got to start understanding there are women who understand logic, but and like myself, but I also have a husband, and so that's why I understand the male nature and being logical, even in my femininity, I still understand logic from my husband. So every woman is not coming from that emotional standpoint. There are women who understand logic, women who understand what you're saying, and women who can make sense of it. So we got to stop putting every woman in the same category. Just like I don't believe we should put all men in the same category. Sometimes I think some of these podcasters or whatever, they have a one-track mind. They just put every woman in that category, and this is all women are speaking womanese. Just because a woman has an opinion or she has something to say, I think that's a bit, I don't know, a bit disrespectful to say that in a sense. And I know that women talk a lot. I'm the one who, who call them out and say these women are delusional all the time, because they are. But I also acknowledge that that's not every woman, because there are good women, but those women typically have husbands, so they understand the differences and how to reel that in. But we gotta stop putting every woman in that category, because women have opinions. It don't mean that they aren't valid. Just like I wouldn't invalidate a man's opinion or thoughts, even if I don't agree. I don't invalidate, and that's what I don't like. It starts to become a little bit of a shaming in there. You know how Kevin Samuels talked about shames, insults, and the guilt and need to be right. Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. I detected, and I like Cooley's show. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'm just looking at it from what I'm seeing. A little bit of it starts to become shaming. Like you start shaming and insulting the people for having their thoughts. There's a way to communicate without it going to that. And that tends to be what a lot of women do. And this is what a lot of men complain about, but some men do it too. Some men do it too. And so I saw a bit of that, I will say, but let's continue.
And then she spoke some womenese and said some nonsense. So, and we're going to get into some more clips as well. So this is...
So is womanese the same as mansplaining? Is that the same? What is womanese? Well, is womanese equivalent to mansplaining? Where you try to explain away something that don't really look quite the way you're trying to explain it to be. Well, would y'all consider mansplaining the same as womanese? Let me know. I want to know, because I don't know. Let's continue.
Right there, that clip that I just played, chat, that is how it all started. So they clipped it up. They didn't put up the truth in it. They put up information that wanted to show, that made it look like that I said myself that I was a top tier man. And I mean, if anyone that watches my content, I don't even speak like that. I don't even say I'm an alpha. I don't use those type of words like alpha man, high value. I would say I'm a man of value. I have a family and stuff like that, and my family views me as someone who's valued. So, and even on a podcast, when y'all watch it, girls say, hey, rate yourself from 1 to 10. I'm like, usually 6.5, something like that. I'm a very, there's only one person that was perfect, and that was Jesus. And I'm always striving to be my best. I'm a flawed human being as well. But anyway, so anyone that actually knows my character, they know that this was all, propaganda. It was clipped up to make me look bad, right? So here's a learning moment for the chat and everyone that's watching and listening right now. And I always tell people to come from a standpoint of strength, not a standpoint of weakness. When you show weakness, it's like a shark sensing that it's blood in the ocean. They will attack. And these far left-wing, media podcasts and, simp podcast and, pretty much women pandering type media podcasts, they'll edit something up to be very disingenuous to make a point. So they just lie to you. So I'm trying to tell you, you've been manipulated. You've been manipulated. The most viral video that they put up, I think it has like 2 million views, was edited to make me seem like I said I was a top tier man, but I wasn't. So there you go. But this bleeds over into the single mom stuff, right?
Well, so does he not consider himself a high value man or a top tier man? So him being 6'4" and make well over 6 figures or whatever. So that's what was that for? Was that not equivalent to you saying you are a top tier man? By what was the point of pointing that out then? So whether they said top tier, whatever, being 6'4" and making a certain amount of money, what was that? What was that saying? Was that saying what was that for? Was that so they edited? Is he saying they edited him out to edited out him say he didn't say he was a top tier? So what's the 6'4" and making a certain amount of money is referencing? Is that referencing the top tier man? What was that referencing? What was the point of saying you're 6'4" and make a certain amount of money? Because all of that goes right into what is considered by a lot of these women top tier men or high value men, right? So what was that reference for? Successful MD says, DeeDee, you're one of the few. You're one of the few to respect others' opinions without sharing. Most on YouTube think they are right. Even KS shamed if you didn't agree. Yeah, well, and I think that that's a problem. And as much as, and as much as I talk about the nature of women and the problems that women have, then that means everybody got problems. The men need to work on some things too. Sometimes I think I don't watch a whole lot of like what is considered red pill male podcasters. I don't watch a lot of that. I just watch certain people and here and there. Like I don't have time to sit down and just watch religiously. So I watch a bit of everything. So I see a bit of everything, but I just think that that's a problem. You if you're gonna be able to, put some stuff out there, you got to be willing to accept some stuff too. You just can't. Nobody is 100% correct, and you got to be able to listen to other people's perspectives. I said this before, and when you are the type of person that like to take over the conversation and grandstand, and everything that you say, you make your points, and everything that you say, you said, with your chest, and because you believe it. But when somebody else says something that counters that, oh, they got to be wrong, and you got to. It's almost like there's nothing nobody else says that's right. Oh, you're wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why. That's a problem to me. It shouldn't be a battle. You agree with what you agree with, and I can listen, and I can respectfully disagree. But if that's what you believe, maybe I might listen to something. Maybe there's something you might say that I agree to, and I'll come around and I'll say, you know what, that made a lot of sense. I get where you're coming from, and leave it at that. It doesn't have to be you're right, I'm wrong. No, that's what you believe. Okay, if you getting the outcomes and that you want from what you believe, kudos to you. If it's working for you, kudos to you. But oftentimes we see situations where people have this certain ideology, or they have these certain ideas or certain thoughts, and they're so staunch on it. But guess what? It's not working for them. They believe or whatever, want to follow whoever or whatever, but it's not working. So if something is not working, you got to change the way you think. You got to change what you're doing. If it's not working, if you got what you want, the outcomes are reflecting what you believe and what you stand on. I respect whatever you say. But if you're telling me one thing and you're not getting outcomes, then I'm automatically in my head think you're a hypocrite, and I'm gonna be like, okay, you're full of shit. So that's what I'm gonna think of you. I may not tell you that to your face, but I'm gonna think in my head, oh, this ninja full of shit, or this chick is full of shit, because you ain't got none of the outcomes with what you're doing. So I know I ain't gonna follow that, or I ain't listen to what you saying, because you full of shit and you ain't your outcomes are whack. So I got sense enough. That's common sense. If somebody is doing something and they're not getting the outcomes, why would I jump on that bandwagon? Why would I jump on that train and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just follow her down nowhere lane. I'm just gonna follow you to the what is it? The something not good. I'm just gonna follow you to the depths of the dungeon, but because you sound good. But I don't see no good outcomes, and I'm supposed to find. No, you got to look at the outcomes. You got to look at is this working? Is this working? Because if it's working, and I need something to work, then maybe I'll take your advice. You see what I'm saying? So that's that. Thank you so much for the super chat, Successful MD. Let's continue.
Because if you look at it, the hypocritical part would be, well, he's a hypocrite. Well, and how can he be a top tier man? Like he said, he's a top tier man, but single baby mamas and stuff, like that doesn't add up. How can you be top tier and single baby mamas? That doesn't add up. So you've been lied to, you've been manipulated. No one said that they were a top tier man. Okay, so let's get into some more stuff now. We're gonna play some clips where actually, let's see. And I see super chats coming. I'm going to get to the super chats as well. It's going to be it's going to be a teaching moment for everyone because it's been a lot of lies and misinformation. So a hypocrite is someone that tells someone, yeah, I don't do this. That ain't me. I don't stand for this. But then they go ahead out and do it. That's what a hypocrite is. Just want to let y'all know. That is true. We can all agree to that. So all of the
Yeah, I mean, the exact definition of a hypocrite is a person who acts in contradiction to his or her stated beliefs or feelings. So I guess that's what he's saying. What you do contradicts what you say, or the beliefs that you have and what you say. So what you say and what you know and what you do when it doesn't align, then that's a contradiction. Thank you, Ronald White. Thank you for the super chat. It says, DeeDee, your God-given quality of humility is one of many bountiful gifts to your husband. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Listen, it comes from living and learning and having the experiences and learning things about yourself and learning what you need to change and what you need to improve upon. It's all about life's experience. This is why I say life experiences are the best teachers. You can read a book and you can know how to fix a car. You can read a book about giving birth. I say that all the time. You can read books about, and I think reading books are great. You need to get knowledge. Knowledge, wherever you get it from, is great. So if you're reading books to learn how to do things, or you get that knowledge of how to do it. But there's a major difference in reading the book and actually experiencing it. You can read books about child labor. My husband used to read books about that kind of stuff. So he had a intellectual idea of what it's like to give birth, what the woman goes through, the changes that her body goes through. He know that stuff because he read it. He knows things by reading it, but he doesn't get to experience it. He doesn't get to feel. You can have an idea of what it's like, and what the body is going through and what changes are being made to give birth, but you don't experience it. So you can't have that part of the experience because you don't know what labor feels like. You don't know what it feels like to push a baby out. You don't know what the pain feels like. You don't know how it feels for that child to grow inside of you. So there's a difference there. There's a difference between knowing what it is and actually going through it. So this is where I say experience to me is the best teacher. You can have the knowledge by reading, which I think is perfect because you have an understanding. But to actually go through something, to me, gives you the better experience or insight because you can tell specifically how it feels, what's going on, all of the stuff that actually happens to you. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what it is to be shot. I know people that's been shot. But I can't. I don't know what it feels like to have a hot bullet in my stomach. You see what I'm saying? But I could read a book on what it feels like to be shot, so I can have an idea. Ooh, that probably burned, or what? It's probably sizzling on your skin. I don't know. Oh, hell, it probably feels like this because the book says this, but to actually feel it is a different situation. So I think it's good to be mindful of those types of things, and I just think it makes sense to learn how to listen to what people say and understand that people have differences and not to always be combative because somebody don't agree with you. To me, when you're combative, when people don't agree with you, it shows a lack of intelligence in a sense. It's almost like, or a lack of, you're not as secure as you might want people to think. That means there's a level of insecurities because people like to talk about, men are insecure. I don't believe men are insecure on a lot of the things that women literally say, but I do believe that when you can't maintain your composure when somebody disagrees with you, there's something there. There's some improvements that need to happen. You know what I mean? Because it's not a assault on you because somebody don't agree with you. It just means that they agree with something else, and maybe their lifestyle is different and they have an opposing view. It doesn't make you less than or greater. It just means that y'all don't agree. Simple as that. And I think people take offense to it because something in them, they lack something. Something there is there where you can't accept differences of opinion. It makes you make you feel less than because you feel good when everybody agrees with you, and when they don't, you feel smaller or something. I don't know, but I know that it's something. And so once you learn that and you realize, look, being respectful to other people who are respectful to you is something you should automatically do. That shouldn't be something you have to figure out. You should automatically know. Listen, if somebody is being respectful to you, even though y'all disagree, they owe that respect back. I don't think disrespect and insulting and all that shows a level of insecurities when you have to do that when somebody don't agree with you. That's all I'm saying with that. But thank you, Ronald, once again for the super chat. I appreciate you.
These podcasts is making reactions to me. They saying that I'm hypocritical because they think that, oh, here's another red pill guy making talking points like all of these other podcasts. So he must view himself as like a bachelor and this high value guy, where if you watch No Fugazi, I'm not a bachelor. I have a family. I'm a family guy. I'm a father. So my values and everything that I embody is much different from these other type of red pill podcasts that y'all watch. I just new people coming in right now, just talking a whole lot. This is not no bachelor type podcast. Yeah, we're trying to get all the chicks. No, you also have to think that when we're doing an episode with a lot of girls on, we're speaking in general, and we're speaking from certain points where we're arguing the girl's flawed point. So that's really what it is.
Well, and to speak to that, and I think this is where some of the contradiction comes in. He's speaking in general to a flawed, to the people, but when that woman who was on the podcast specifically asked him a question, he didn't answer it. That would have been a moment to put that perspective in there, because people are not going through your videos looking for looking and to find. No, that's the perfect moment when somebody specifically asked me, are you married? When I first started doing this part of YouTube, people were always ask, are you married? Are you married? Because they didn't know. They didn't know. A lot of people didn't know I was married because they didn't know. And then there were people who knew I was married and questioned whether I was really married or not. I'm like, okay, but it shows you how people think, and because they're probably so used to people having an opinion or a strong opinion on something without actually living the type of life that they're talking about. So I think a lot of people are used to that. And so, of course, I'm assuming if you're asking if I'm married, which I didn't have a problem answering, that's because you're trying to just I guess clarify my reasoning for having the points that I have, or trying to see where I'm coming from to give some type of validity to me, or or qualify my opinions, and which people do it all the time. Look, what you coming from this place, do you have a man? We do it all the time. And so I think when it comes to a lot of the men who talk up in these spaces, a lot of them aren't married. Let's be clear on that. A lot of them are not married, and so but they get to say, oh, the laws have to change, and I get that. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I understand it. But a lot of these aren't like 25-year-old guys. A lot of these are older men, and you're like, okay, well, so if you're coming from this place, well, how did you get there? Like, and once again, I'll say too, like he said, like new people coming in don't know. They don't know if you're married. They don't know where you stand. People want to know. People want to put you in a category. They want to put you in a box. They want to say, okay, he's married. Okay, he's talking about married things. Okay, that fits. Oh, he's talking about how to get a woman and what to do, and he don't have a woman. So they're gonna be like, nah, why you don't have a woman? You know what I mean? I get it. So I understand people asking me in the beginning, like, well, are you married? And I'm like, yeah, I've been married over 20 years. They're like, oh, wow, okay, cool. All right. But you speaking about, it is almost like they're trying to make sure what you're saying is aligning with your lifestyle. And I totally get it. And so that's just what it is. If you have a strong opinion, people want a bit of insight into your world, like what is going on. Like, how did you manage to stay in a marriage for over 20 years, damn near 26 years, at this point, of us being together, And so people want to know. They want to yeah, some people would call it nosy. I mean, it's nosy to a degree. Like I had somebody on here just asking question after question. Like I look, this is not 21 questions, but I will let you know the things you need to know. If you want more, I can help you with that. And what I say is in direct response into my experiences and trying to give a little tidbit on what I believe and what I think. But I mean, yeah, of course people gonna want to know, because some people don't think that if you're not married, you shouldn't be giving marital advice. You should be giving relationships. Some people think that if you're not married, you shouldn't be giving that advice because you haven't had the experience. Some people believe that. Some people believe that, hey, if you have the experience, you're the best person to put it out there. I've heard that too. But there are different reasons why. And I'm not saying you have to divulge all of your business, because I don't think that's, tell all your married life. I don't think you should do that. But I do think it's important to give people a little insight of where you're coming from and why you think and speak the way you do. I don't see why that's a problem. And I think all of this, people talking about Cooley, I think all this could have been avoided if he had, gave a little bit more insight on what's actually happening with him and his girlfriend. I don't think, some men, I'm a woman, so maybe I'm coming from a woman. Maybe I'm speaking womanese. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking from a place of being a woman, and maybe men just think differently. What do y'all think? Because maybe he's like, I don't got to tell y'all nothing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe coming from that point. But when all of this comes out, people are gonna have their opinions, and you can't really be mad at that, because if they didn't have nothing else to go on and they're seeing certain things, what you expect? What do you expect? Let's continue.
But it's a lot of low IQ people that would think that he's hypocritical, man. And most of them, I would say, bro, they don't even watch, like, most of the naysayers that's been out, they don't even watch long format content. Like, they watch 1 minute videos to 20-minute videos. They don't watch your full content. Because they watch a lot of reaction channels and TikTok and stuff like that. So it's like reading, it's like having an essay on a book that's 20 chapters, and you only read 4 of the chapters, and then you make a conclusion off the book based off of those 4 chapters that you read. So a lot of people in the comments and stuff like that currently right now is like, oh no, he's just trying to cover up. No, bro, you don't watch my content. As you've seen, I lost no subscribers. My Instagram is still the same. So all of this noise and stuff like that, my true supporters are still rocking with me. Y'all just here, y'all knew. So since y'all knew, I'm gonna get this work too. And actually, I am gonna open it up for some of the haters, because I like the debate.
Well, to be fair, Instagram and TikTok followers are not the same as the followers you get on YouTube. I mean, I've actually been on YouTube for a long time, believe it or not. I've been on here 15 years, basically, altogether, in different aspects. Instagram and TikTok and all those followers are not the same followers, because you would have the same amount of following. If you got 2 million followers on TikTok, if those followers translated to YouTube or anywhere else, you would have the same amount of followers on YouTube. It does not go that way. Everybody knows that there's a different following on. There are a lot of TikTokers who are big on TikTok, but they have a small following on YouTube. It does not translate like that. So that's unfair to say. Come on now, you know that don't go like that. Even on Instagram, I've seen people have lots of followers on Instagram, but on YouTube they don't have a lot. It's never been equal. So it's not the same followers. It's not. Let's continue.
I'm gonna roast people today. Okay, so let's stay on topic, and let's get. Okay, so now let's go to the single baby mom stuff, right? So yeah, probably thinking like, well, he's been hiding his family and stuff. Bro, I have almost 2 million followers on my TikTok channel. And it's been like that since 2020 or 2021?
Well, once again, most people don't know about your TikTok. I know about your YouTube. It does not translate like that. People on YouTube don't go to your TikTok. This is why they're just finding this and they're like outraged because they just found this out. And honestly, to be fair, I mean, if you go to the TikTok page, you rarely see the girlfriend with her children. You mostly see him and her and the baby, his baby. You don't see, and there's a video with I think his oldest daughter. You don't see there's barely any videos with all of them together. There's barely any videos. You go through I went through the whole TikTok just to see. The whole TikTok does not have his girlfriend and her two boys. It mostly have him and her, and then you'll see the baby and then her new bump. And then you see like a couple with his daughter, and that's it. His daughter from a previous relationship. It's not full of him and those other kids, because I think that's the real gag for a lot of people, is the fact they couldn't wrap their brain around the fact that he was with a single mother who had two kids. So you barely see those two kids. And I think one of the posts they said they don't really like the poster children, but his baby is on there, as you guys saw in the video where he was with the outfits. His baby is on there. Her baby bump is on there. Her kids are barely on there. Her kids are barely on there. So I mean, yeah.
What am I hiding? There's no exposing anything. Everyone already knew about my personal life, and I never hid that. Also, I would speak about it when people would ask me on a podcast. And I'm actually going to play these clips for y'all, give y'all proof that I am not a hypocrite, that I've always spoke about my personal life. And then I'm also going to debunk a whole lot of things too, because, I mean, y'all funny. Y'all was saying some funny stuff like, oh, she got, he the third baby father, BBL. So we got to go through all of that and, get everything straight. Okay. So first, before I play this video, let's just play the video. I'm not even gonna give you no info. Let's get right into it so y'all see it, so y'all hear it from the horse's mouth. Okay, let's get to the first one here. You're in the 18th percentile, like myself. I have full custody of my kid, right? Difference between me and you is I met my girl when we got together when we were 25. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, we both had a kid, like we both had children. So we came into the relationship with children, but I was young and she was young. You get what I'm saying? So I didn't have to build on anything. We were kind of just young together, figuring things out. Okay, so as you can see,
that clip was really short. I mean, I would have loved to hear a little bit more. Listen, me and my husband were together young, right? And we built our family together. So I guess I don't understand what you're not having to build. I don't understand that part. Maybe it's just me. We built a life together. So I don't know. I don't understand that part, but it was a short clip. It wasn't, so he said at that particular time, but all of even if you go to a lot of his videos, if you go down the line and watch his videos, you don't hear much on that. You don't hear much on it. Now he mentioned it. Yeah, of course you mentioned it. Maybe he mentioned it a couple other times, but it's not at the forefront of what we hear. If you go through all the videos in our lives, that's not what people hear. So you got to go look deep for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not at the forefront. And I think, really, honestly, I think that's the problem. I think, it's not look, that's his platform. He can do what he wants. But what I'm saying is the problem with people who are saying he's a hypocrite because they barely hear that. And, he said it there and maybe a couple of times, but for the most part, it's not what you hear throughout the videos. Now, maybe it's because I'm a woman and I talk a lot, because throughout my videos, if you go through the lives, you're going to hear me talk about my husband. You're going to hear me talk about, being married and the stuff we've been through. If you watch any of my clips or my lives, specifically, and I had a lot of them up before that I took down, but if you go through them, if you go and just watch, you're going to know that I'm married. It says it in my bio. It says it in my bio. It says I'm a mother. It says I'm a wife. So it ain't nothing to hide if you're talking about it. But if you're barely talking about it, and people got to look deep for it. It might not be something that you really want to bring to the forefront. It might be something you're not really hiding, but it's not something you also want to bring to the forefront either. Same way when that woman asked in the earlier clip, would you date a single mother? And he didn't answer it. He didn't answer. That was that's clear to me there. He didn't really want to talk about that because if you're not hiding it, somebody asked you specifically in front of you, would you date a single mother? He did not say, oh, well, yeah, I got my girl is a single mother, was a single mother. We're together now. Because for that particular conversation at that moment, that probably wouldn't have worked. That would have took it to a different direction. Then he would have had to start talking more about it. So clearly that right there, that would have been the opportunity. But clearly it's not at the forefront of your messaging is all.
That's like my debate night. I do those every Wednesday. And a supporter, he actually called in. He was 37 years old. And he's a single father. And just like I am, just like I was, of a kid, and he had full custody, right? So when you're a single father and you have full custody, it's much different because only 18% of custody battles fathers win. So that means 72% of custody battles with fathers, they don't win, which means that I am an exception to the rule. Also,
exception to what rule? So just because you have custody of your child, that means it's okay for you to date single moms? Is that what the exception is? Oh, because I'm a single father, the rule that I tell people not to date single moms is the rule don't apply to you because you have a child and you have custody of the child. Does that make sense to you? I mean, look, it is what it is. Let's continue. I'm not trying to.
So he called in and he was that same exception. And he asked me some questions and he wanted advice. And he was like, yo, I'm talking to this girl and she has 3 kids. And we only been talking for 6 months and she want me to get her body done. She got like some loose skin. I'm thinking about spending some money to get her body done. I was like, dang, bro, that's a lot of baggage. Like she got 3 and how many baby daddies and and she wants you to like pay some bread to get her body done. That's kind of crazy, bro. Like you could go back out in the dating market and get a girl with 1 kid or get a girl with no kids. And we went through everything. When I spoke to him, like, yo, man, you can increase your value to have more options and stuff like that. He was like, nah, man, I got options. I'm like, well, then the other thing is you need to know your value. Like you need to understand your value.
Well, and if Cooley, Mr. Cooley is okay, he said he didn't say he was a high top tier man, but in this instance, you're telling a man how to increase his value to have more options. Okay, can y'all tell me what is the point of increasing your value to have more options just to go and get a single mother? So what are you increasing your value and your options for? Isn't it to be able to get the woman that you want as opposed to the woman that's there? What is the whole point of telling men to increase their value, increase their options? If you're saying y'all are an exception to the rule, what are you increasing your value for? So increase your value, expand your options just to end up with a woman with 2 kids. And it's acceptable because you already have a kid. But he's saying he's telling that guy who was in the same percentile as him, that y'all were in the same situation. Y'all both, are exceptions, but you're telling him how to level up, basically become. I don't understand. Level up to do what? To go around and say, oh well, if a woman got 2 kids because you got a kid, that's still you leveling up, and you can just accept her and take her. Did you need to do all that leveling up to go and expand your options to just go get a woman that you probably already, who, if you got a few coins, she'll go with you with 3 kids? That don't make no sense to me. I don't understand that. I don't.
Put yourself in a better position in the dating market or you can attract more women. Now we got to speak about myself, right? So let's go to it. So I met like I just said, when I was 25 years old, we met. I had a kid, full custody. And when you are a single father, it's much different. Like in this space, we speak about, the manosphere, like / red pill type conversations. We always speak about mitigating risk, like coming from a mitigating risk standpoint, like, okay, stuff like that. So it's more from like a selfish standpoint when we're speaking. But when you're a father, you have to be selfless because I had a daughter that can't be selfish. So I can't be like, man, let me get, the chick with 000 baggage. I'm just looking at those things and all of this, but I'm not really worried about the values and all of that. But when you are a father, you got to be selfless. You got to think about, well, I got to find a woman that embodies some good moral characteristic traits like I do. I got to find a woman that comes from a 2-parent household. I got to find a woman that's like the exception to the rule. Because I'll tell you, when you're a single father, women that don't have kids don't necessarily understand the obligations that come with having kids.
Listen, that is equivalent to telling women who think that having kids makes them better. And women have used the same logic. Because I have kids, that makes me a better woman because I know what it's like to raise a child. I know the hardships and the struggles that we go through because we have kids. So single men who don't have kids should be grateful to have us. That's similar to the same argument that single mothers make, that a man should want a single mother even more than a woman who doesn't have kids because she understands and having these kids by 2 and 3 different men makes her better than a woman who has no kids. That's an argument that women make, that single mothers make. But that gets shot down because you're like, hell no, that'll make you better. But when a man is saying it, is it any different? So because you have a child, that somehow separates you from the pack. And automatically you're supposed to be able to understand womanese then? The stuff that the women would say? Is that understanding womanese when it comes to a single mother who can convince you, a man who has standards, that just because you have a daughter that, now you should just accept single mothers. If you are a man with standards and of a certain caliber, why can't you get a woman without any kids? I'm just saying, how could you tell other men how to increase their options so they can have better options when if you have the options and you have the better options? How are you coming out with a woman who has 2 kids? It's not justifiable in my head. Maybe somebody else could get it. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I'm not being mean. I just don't get it. There are men out here who have 3 baby mamas, to be honest with you. There are men who are considered high value who have 2 and 3 baby mamas. And guess what they still could get? A woman who don't have kids. If we're gonna be real, there are a lot of men who are considered high value by the standards, and they still get women with no kids and end up giving her a kid. You know what I mean? So I don't understand what's the point of raising your value in order to accept the same thing that you're saying is a low standard. Am I tripping? Please, 1 in the chat if I'm tripping, 2 in the chat if I'm not. 1 in the chat if I'm tripping, 2 if I'm not. I need to know because maybe I'm missing something. And I try to understand everybody. I really do. Because in my head, my husband laughed at me about this because I'm just trying to make sense of it. I don't want to sound hypocritical and I don't want to sound judgmental. I'm just trying to understand what is it I'm missing? If single mothers are not the pick and you need to become a high value man to expand your options just to go and get the very woman that you say is not what you're looking for. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But you know, I don't understand that. I don't understand. I don't understand. There are men out here who are considered high value men who have kids by several different women, but they still end up getting a woman who's fit, a woman who look like what they want, who have no kids, and they end up giving her kids. I'm just saying. So I don't understand the logic. But let's continue.
You get it? You don't understand the
I don't get it.
obligation that comes with having kids. So for my situation and for a lot of guys, I mean, if you can get a woman that is the exception to the rule where she's not a single mom because she got knocked up or she had some one night stands or she has a whole lot of tattoos, like she has all of these other red flags and she's a single mom, it's like, God dang, what's going on? Because we know the stigma around single moms. So if you're gonna date a single mom, you gotta date one that isn't a stigma. But guess what? Stay away from the single moms. I still tell you guys now, because generally,
Okay, but before you stay away from them, what's the stigma that the single mom, what are the required, tell the people what the stigmas are. So she could be a single mom 2 times over, but it has to come from one man. Like what qualifies that single, what makes that single mom different from the rest? That would be the question that I would have. What makes that single mom different from the rest? So if she's a single mom, but maybe if she was married and the marriage ended and she got a child or two from her husband, I hear people say that's a little bit better because you was married and both of your kids are by your husband. So if she was married and she had 2 kids, but in the relationship didn't work with the husband, okay, that's more acceptable and she's a good woman or whatever. Does it matter how how the relationship ended? Did she leave her husband? Because what are the qualifications? That's what I think he need to be telling his audience, in my opinion. I'm not trying to tell people how to do it, but I'm just saying that will make people understand better. So should you be telling them what makes a certain single mom different from the other? Because the only thing that they're saying is the difference is the fact that she's not black, that she's a white girl. So, you got to whisper that she's a white girl. So is that the main difference? If not, because that's what people are saying. If it's not just the fact that there's an exception because she's white, what are the exceptions between single moms? What makes one single mom acceptable and what makes the other one not acceptable? Because that's what the people need to know. What they should be looking for. Okay, it's okay to go single moms, but if she's from a 2-parent household, one would think though, if she's from a 2-parent household, maybe the statistics, and they like to say statistics, wouldn't the statistics show that more than likely that wouldn't happen if she had 2 parents in the home? Not saying it doesn't happen because I know it do, but what I'm saying, more her being from a 2-parent household, okay, that's one of the qualifications. What else? It was by one man, maybe, and then she was married to that man. Maybe she's a widow, maybe her husband passed away or something. Is that what it is? What are the values she have outside of, what other values qualify for her being the right type of single mother to date? That's what the people would need to know. What's the values that distinguish this single mother from the others? I think people would like to know that. What's the difference? Because right now they don't know. Because from what a lot of guys say, look, and what he said himself, single mothers are recreational use only. There was no specification until afterwards. He said there's a video where he's going to talk about, but more than not, it's not a real, deep dive into what type of single mother you should be getting. And it can't be just, oh, you got a kid, so I'll just take a lady with kids. You got to be more than that. So what are the extras? Because it can't be just that. I'm just saying. Let's continue.
Speaking, the majority, they have all of that baggage. I just so happen to be the exception to the rule, and so is my chick. So now y'all speaking about now y'all said I was like a hypocrite and stuff like.
Bossip says he ain't tell you that single mother helped out. Ooh, helped out how, child? See what I'm saying? There's a lot of the stuff that be missing. A lot of stuff that will be missing. David says love will make you do dumb-ish. Well, say that then. I'm like this. If you've done some dumb stuff for a chick or for you a woman, you did some dumb stuff for a man, Say it. Because you was in love and you thought this was gonna last, whatever. A lot of people had those stories. Then say that then. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm just I don't know. Just say what it is. Everybody, people can relate to that kind of stuff. When you tell it like it is, you'll find more people relate to that than trying to spin it into something else. More people relate to what's real. If you've been through some stuff and you thought you was in love, I had a lot of people on my panel come up and say, I asked the question, how many men have been simps? And just about all of them say they've been a simp at some point in their lives. Do I look at it and say, oh my God, y'all was, no. I understand when they talked about it. They're being realistic. They're not lying about, no, I'm just saying. All the men basically said they have been a simp at some point in their life. And I get it. But that's something that they're not trying to do again, but they admitted that they were there. Sometimes people relate more to the truth and the realistic stuff than, the superficial stuff. Devon Mitchell says, what a black man look like being stepdaddy to some white kids. Cooley gonna trigger an Amber Alert while walking in Walmart with Logan and Haley. Lord. Devon, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you, child. Not the Amber Alert with Logan and Haley. Oh, Lord. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you, child. Lord have mercy. Lord, child, let's get through this because I'm about to wrap this up, child. Let's continue.
So we're going to get into some more stuff. So like, think about it, right? So say if I was to give someone advice and I was going to say, hey, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like telling someone that wants to be like LeBron James, hey, you can be born from a single mother, knowing LeBron James is the exception to the rule. He's the exception and not the rule. So if I'm the exception, why would I tell men to, oh yeah, well, when I was driving and I ran.
Wait, can y'all help me understand that point he just made? You can tell LeBron James was born from a single mother. That's the exception. What are you saying? What are you saying? There are a lot of athletes who were raised by single mothers. I'm trying to understand that point. So what a lot of those athletes were raised by single mothers, but they had mentors. They had men in their lives who helped them train. They saw that they had or even some of the mothers saw that they had a talent and they nurtured that talent, put them in those positions they need to be in so that they could thrive and get better. And then they end up to where they were. So, and I'm trying to understand, what was that point made? What was the point that we supposed to get out of that? What was the point? He is so humble that he seems like a what? Oh my God. What LeBron got to do with this case? I'm trying to figure that out, Bossip. I'm trying to figure out. He's trying to correlate into his circumstances with the single mother. I don't get that part. I don't. But anyway, let's continue so we can wrap this up.
Now, red light, I didn't get a ticket. So yeah, man, just run that red light. That's dumb. You speaking about the exception. I just didn't get caught. Like I was the exception that time. You gotta tell people when you give them advice, you want to give them the general advice because that's what's gonna lead. That's the usual experiences that they're gonna have in said situation. So you want to give a general advice. So we got a lot of people in here.
Give them the general advice. So what's the general advice? Oh, not the exception. So don't tell them that you are the exception to what he says you shouldn't do. So you're the exception. Tell everybody else, for the most part, don't date single women. They're recreational use, but you're the exception because you got a single mother. I would think, listen, people say, I don't get that either. Do y'all get that? Do y'all get that? You're the exception because you got a single mother, because you're dating a single mother. But they shouldn't date single mothers because they're not the exception. They're the general. They're gonna fall into the general rule of what? You shouldn't date single mothers. So the general rule is don't date single mothers. They're they're for only for recreational use. So you don't go after single mothers, but the exceptions can get the single mothers and have them and create families with them. Huh? Like what? I mean, is that what you want? Do you just want single mothers? Like what? I don't understand. Like, I mean, if you had a choice to pick a woman that wasn't a single mother versus a woman, you know, the opposite, one with no kids, which one would you pick? If you had a good woman who met all the qualities and didn't have any children, would you still say that? Would you still go for the single mother and call yourself I don't understand. I don't understand. Yeah, crackhead meth. Yes, crackhead meth. Math sounds like it. Well, I don't get it. So the general rule is don't go for single mothers. And especially if you don't have kids, right? But if you have a kid, you're the exception, so you can date the single mothers. I think that's what he's saying.
We got bad people in here. All right, cool. And let's get to some more stuff too. So we already broke down that I never lied, but we're gonna get to some more stuff too, how I never lied too. How I even spoke about it on a podcast with girls too. So let's get to it. Here's another clip, chat.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate you for the super chat. I'm sorry. I put you in timeout. I wasn't trying to put you in timeout. I'm sorry. I appreciate that. I apologize. I was, spamming. Somebody asked what spamming is. It's when you putting the same thing in too many emojis and you just putting the same thing over and over in there. That's spamming. You're putting too many two just random comments over, like the same thing over and over and over. But thank you for the super chat. Black Unity says, I don't get it. He should have just said, take your time and vet every woman before getting deeply involved, single mom or not. Black Unity, listen, thank you for that super chat. Listen, I'm simple. I could respect that. Trust me, I don't have a problem with people's preferences. I don't care if you date black, white, blue, green, yellow. I don't care. I've said it before. If that's where you find your peace and your love, and you can find somebody who's have the like mind and values that you share, go with it. Because at the end of the day, it's your life, honey. You got to live your life for you. You can't live it for everybody else. So I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying. That's bottom line. I think they make it so difficult. Just be honest and be real. And I think a lot of people are faking the funk. You're faking something that is not really your thoughts. You're faking something that's not really you. And I think that it shows through, it comes through, and it does make you look like a hypocrite because you're doing something totally opposite of what you really telling other people to do. And that is hypocritical, as opposed to telling what your life actually is. If you want to date a white woman, if you want to date a woman with kids, that's your business. So if you want to come on a platform or platforms or social media, whatever you want to do, you have the right to come out and give your thoughts and but to be honest, I think if you come out and say, listen, I will date Becky and I will date single moms, I have no problem with it. That is not going to be the popular narrative. Just be honest. That's not going to be popular. It's going to be the unpopular narrative. And I think that's what they don't want. So you got to say what's popular, what's trendy, what people want to hear. And in that space, they talk about that. Oh no, don't you date a single mom, or you a simp? Don't you date? And I'm like, listen, I don't see the advantage of men taking on these unrealistic women who think that you are obligated to take them on and take care of them and their kids. I don't think anybody should do that. And I don't think any man should be pressured into taking on single mothers. That's what single mothers have to realize. But if that's what you want to do, I ain't got no problem with that. Do you? But if you're doing you in secret and then you come out and tell everybody, don't do it, they're only recreational use, then that is hypocritical. It really is. And if you did one video or two videos in the background where nobody really is paying attention to that, and that's not your overall message, it's going to get lost. And so everybody is not going to see that. And of course you say, oh, I'm not hiding it. Yeah. And the TikTok thing, I mean, like I said, there's barely any videos of those kids on there. And so nobody would really know. Unless they saw that one of those couple of videos of him saying, oh, I got a girl, but nobody knew she had 2 kids and all of that. Nobody knew. Most people didn't know that. So that's kind of, that's a little iffy, but I'm just saying, like, if that's what you got going on and you stand on it, then you wouldn't just say that shit. I'm just saying, like, it ain't nothing to say. It's because that's your life and you don't care what nobody think. But that might have not been as popular. You know what I'm saying? It might not be as popular. Because listen, coming from a female perspective, if I got on here, if I wanted to be fake, right? Just giving thank you, Black Unity, for the super chat. I appreciate you. If I wanted to be fake, I could have started this channel or rebranded this channel, because this channel been different things. I could have came on and started bashing men straight up, even though that is not my thing. But because I've paid attention and I saw how the women, how the women they go toward the women for bashing men, I could have easily been like, to hell with these ninjas. They all trash. They all this. These ninjas, all they want to do is use and abuse you. All they want to do this. All these ninjas are just bad. All these ninjas are bottom of the barrel. I could have came out here and did that easy. I could have not even ever mentioned I was married. I could have just been like, all of them are this horrible. And just because that's what the women want to hear. Women want to hear other women bash Black men. I could have easily been on a bashing train to bash men just to get the popular vote and get all the numbers. Because bashing Black men is more popular than you defending Black men. Let's be honest. Bashing y'all is more beneficial than supporting you. So, but it's, and people are who they are. That's just, I couldn't do it. I got a Black husband. I got Black sons. I can't get on here and just start bashing all Black men. And that's not to say, and I have to say this because people act like they have bad understanding. That's not to say that there aren't bad men out here, Black men, but we also got, and I say this too, we got to acknowledge that there are bad Black women out here. But to say all Black women are just trash, I can't even do that. Because I don't consider myself trash, and I'm a Black woman. So, and I know good Black women. So that all Black women aren't trash, but all Black men aren't trash either. But a lot of these women put all Black men in this category. They dust this bottom of the barrel. Girl, go get you a white man. Girl, go to this, divest, do this and do that. And all of them are broken. All of them are this. And all they want to do is abuse you. And all they want to do is do this. And all they want to do is put you down. All they want to do is do this and everything negative. And that is so not true. So in my good conscience, I couldn't do that for clout and money. While I will say this, we all on here, and anybody say they ain't doing it for the money, they're goddamn lie. Because everybody on here who's doing it, they accepting the little coins that come with it. In some cases, a lot of coins. They accepting the coins come with it. You would be a fool not to. So if somebody's saying, well, I'm not doing it for the money, I don't believe that. I think that's bullshit. Yes, you are. Because everybody turn their super chats on. Everybody say subscribe, like, follow, because you know that's going to lead to you a coin. So don't say you're not doing it for a coin. Yeah, you may be doing it to get your points out and across and things like that because you want to share some things, because that's how I feel about it. But it's not just, it's all of it's a benefit. But what I'm saying is be truthful about where you stand. It's not good to try to manipulate individuals into a certain realm or standard that you yourself don't even believe in. And it's just in general. Because it is manipulation for a person to push one thing and do something totally different. If your life is what it is, then I personally think that that's what you should be and if not even just straight pushing, but incorporating your situation, because eventually people gonna see it. And you can justify it all day, left and right, try to switch it here, up and down, round in circles all you want. People are still going to see it for what it is, because it's not the focal point of what your talking points are. And I think that's the disconnect, and that's what is manipulation, because manipulation is leading a group of people who, because and shout out to Cooley, and I'm just calling it like I see it. It's no harm, no foul, no hurt, no bad blood or nothing, because I don't know him. I like this content. I'm just saying I watch it. But what I'm saying, it is a form of manipulation, because she said it was the man was 37 years old, an older man. I don't know how old he was, but older, coming and calling you for advice. And so you have to be mindful of when people getting advice from you, what you're telling these people. And that particular man, he told him that, he got a woman and she had a kid or 2 kids or whatever she had at the time. And so that man knew, but everybody didn't know that. And I think if you're the exception to anything, you have to let people know that. You have to incorporate that into your message. You have to let people know. So when we hear, single mothers are only for recreational use only, we should hear, but me and my girl are the exception. We should hear that too. Let's play this last little part.
Things, but it isn't. I'm doing something different. So let's get into it. The man has bigger stake if he chooses to date a single mother and take her seriously, because she comes with kids. Now, a man that has kids, it's much different. Now, a man that has kids and a woman that has kids, okay, that's a mixed family. It's like, okay, y'all both coming in with baggage. But a man that doesn't have no kids shouldn't look a single mom.
Yeah, but a man who even has a kid or kids is still less beneficial for him, because he still has to come in and take care of his kids plus her kids plus the household plus everything else. So a lot of men, because some men might have a grown child or children. Some men have kids that are 18 and 20 years old. They're not even in the house. So now, should he take on a single mother who has younger kids or kids in the household, because he's still going to be responsible for them? So there's different layers to that. And this is why you have to expound on it. You have to explain what specifically is the type of single mother that these men should be looking for if they want to date single mothers, because a lot of men either had a kid younger and they got married later or whatever, and the kids are grown. So how does that work? So then should he have kids, but they're grown kids. They don't live with him. They got their own lives. Should he still accept single mothers or what? Or what age should the kids be? There's a lot of things you got to go into that, which I don't see him doing, because I'm not trying to be mean or rude or nothing. I just don't see where those talking points are had much in the conversations. It may be sporadic, but I think if you take the position of you accepted a single mother, but you say single mothers are recreational use only, then you have to give some type of more in-depth information as to why your situation is different. And it can't just be the fact that you have a child and you and her are exceptions. But if they are, in what way? You got to expound on it. That's how I see it. Successful Emily says, I would call him and tell him, say you're Derek Jr. Crazy. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. So, I think, these small little clips is not enough. It's not enough to really explain his real, his position. Because I think he's very clear and very adamant about not accepting single mothers, that they're recreational use only. He said that loud and very clear. And, everything else that he said, he's been very clear about it and very open and very, very obvious and clear about it. So why is this so vague? This is not very clear. It's a little bit of it. This is a snippet of a clip. I would like to have seen the whole conversation or see how it goes and what's acceptable or not, So, it is what it is. Shout out to Cooley. Like I said, I watch his channel, love the content, love what he's saying, but this one here is a little confusing. That's all I would say. It's a little confusing. I say, love who you love. Love who's gonna love you back. I don't subscribe to, they gotta be this and that. Love who loves you back and enjoy your life. You only get one life to live. Do you? But I also understand that as content creators, you have a responsibility to back what you say. And I do think, if that's really how you feel and what you believe, your life should reflect that. So I expect that if you're telling people recreational use only for single mothers, I don't care if they're green, black, blue, purple, that you wouldn't have a single mother, that you would get with a woman that you love, and you marry her and y'all build a life together. I would expect that type of person would actually be married, in my opinion, would be married to your long-term, girlfriend. Y'all married, y'all got kids. I would expect that. If you're saying, oh, single mothers are unacceptable, I would expect that you would have the opposite. That would be a woman that you would marry and build a family with just her. I wouldn't expect you to have outside kids. I wouldn't expect you to create a single mother. If you think single mothers are for only recreational use, I wouldn't think that would be something you would choose. I would think you would choose to have a wife and your children come from your wife. That's what I would expect. I would expect a person who, just depending on what you're saying, I would assume that your life is going to reflect what you preach. And if it's not, then that leaves questions. People have questions. That's what I'm saying. People have questions. And if those questions can be justified, then maybe people would be fine with it. But I think, if it's something that just looks off from what you say, yeah, that's why people have questions, and they saying that's why they come up with the hypocrite, saying he's a hypocrite because they don't see it matching up. And listen, if it was me, then listen, I would have to accept the L. I would accept it. Well, you know what? I will call myself a hypocrite because I'm telling you guys something that in my life is totally different. And I'm not going to sit here and try to justify it and say, oh, well, I'm just the exception to the rule. That sounds disingenuous to me. It sounds like, no, this is my life and this is how I live. But, I'm going to say something else that sounds salacious, even though that's not really how I get down. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with a single mother if she's a decent woman, and I'm not selfish because I got a child, she got kids. I'm gonna accept them. If that's your choice, that's your choice. It ain't nobody else's really. Nobody else should have a problem with it. But the only reason they'll have a problem with it if you look like you're contradicting what you're telling everybody else, and that's what people are saying. It's contradictory to what you're actually living, and that anybody would see that as a problem. That's all. It's no reason to get mad, but it's a moment to reevaluate and say, hold on, you know what? They're right. It looks like this. I'm not practicing what I'm preaching. I'm telling people they're only for recreational use, even to the point, which I'll point out one more time, and then we're gonna wrap this up, y'all. One more time, which stuck with me when the lady here asked him specifically.
Single moms need love too. He feels she's selfish. Well, you
Look,
ever date,
just straight up,
you
look.
still make poor decisions with your
Poor
knowledge.
decisions.
So when I see a single mom, right, I see a woman that made all the wrong choices and only prioritized how she feels. She's selfish. Will you ever date a single mom? Single moms need love too. They can get a little recreational use only sometimes.
Wow. Do you think that single moms are damaged? Are damaged good?
Well, damaged goods. I believe that. She just said it right.
She clearly asked him twice, would you date a single mom? Do you think that they're damaged goods? He didn't really answer that. That says a lot to me. Like, wow, this was the perfect. It's not about clips and what you said here and there. That's clearly something that you don't want to answer. When somebody asks you a clear question, you don't answer it is because you don't really want to. You don't really want to. It's like you don't want to say the wrong thing because of what you're saying, and knowing all the while you're in a relationship with a single mom. That there to me that was the okie doke right there. I'm just saying that was the slithery part right there. She asked you clearly, would you date a single mom? And single moms need love too. No, that would have been a perfect opportunity to say, yeah, I dated a single mom. My girl was a single mom when I met her, and I was a single dad. And the reason why, I'll tell you why. Perfect segue to lay that all out, and that way people will know. But based on him already saying that they're recreational use only, that would these women would have pushback. The conversation would have went a totally different way. That's just that. Clearly, she asked him specifically, would you date a single mom? And he had a single mom the whole time. So that's not contradiction. That ain't nothing. He could have clearly stated what he stated in the aftermath of all of this. Well, yeah, I date a single mom right now. She had 2 kids when I met her. I had a child, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I feel like we're the exception. I don't know if it probably wouldn't have came off too well in that setting. See, if you said we're the exception because I had a daughter, she had a kid, so how could I? You just said single moms are selfish and they made poor choices because they want. So single moms make poor choices. They're selfish, but you have a single mom. So what does that say about you? Do you make poor choices? You see what I'm saying? How it don't add up. It don't add up, y'all. But it is what it is. Listen, at the end of the day, people are gonna go on and live their lives. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on it. No harm, no foul. Just wanted to give my 2 cents on what I think about it. Like I said, because I do watch his channel, and I'll continue to watch. I mean, sometimes I watch, to see what's being said. I did taper off from watching it though. Like, I don't know. It just, God bless him and his channel and his family and everything. But all I'm saying is I do see how people see it. I do see how people see it. I see how people could consider it, how they can see it as hypocritical. Just straight up, it is. Because if this clip to me was enough, in my opinion, to say, damn, you had your woman with her 2 kids, and you probably had a child with her at that time, and that girl asked you straight up. But there's no way you could say, oh no, I got a single mom, and at the same time saying, oh, recreational use or recreational use only, all in that same show. They're single mothers are recreational use only. They make poor decisions. They're this, they're that, they're that. But you sitting here when asked, would you date a single mom? And he didn't answer. Oh, they need love too, without really clarifying. So, so it's not, you're not saying a lie to her face, but it's a lie by omission, by not addressing it. Well, that would have been a perfect time. So, that's my thoughts on it, y'all. Yeah, that's the internet, probably, y'all. If looking fuzzy, struggle stream. That's what happens sometimes. There's nothing I can do about it. But good thing we about to wrap this up. So, listen, it is what it is. I wanted to give my thoughts. That's my thoughts on it as an older woman. Because remember, y'all, I might look kind of young, but I'm not. I'm in my late 40s, so I got a little wisdom up here. I'm not speaking womanese. I'm too old to be speaking womanese. I have some sense and logic and understanding of how things work. Well, while I'm not perfect and while I don't know everything, I got a little sense and a little experience to understand certain things. You might could pull the wool over some little young 20-year-old mind or person or whatever. But no, I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? And I could see certain things. I wasn't born yesterday. You know what I mean? Wasn't born yesterday. So I could kind of, and I think a lot of times people, when you think you know it all, and I'm not saying anybody know it, I'm just saying when you come from a place of thinking you know it all and you just right all the time, you don't realize that, people pay attention to things and you see stuff, and it's not easy to pull the wool over everybody's eyes. Everybody, ain't just speaking womanese, and everybody ain't just oblivious. You know what I mean? I might be oblivious to something, shit. I might be oblivious to something, But this kind of stuff, I'm not. And I've seen too much, and I've been through a few, a little bit of a relationship, and understand how you grow from that, and what it's just, and I just think that, especially in these social media, YouTube streets, if you saying that kind of stuff, you got to kind of back it up. You know what I'm saying? You got to back it up. Like I said, y'all would roast me if I came on here and just said, you know what? I've been lying. I'm not married, as some people already think I'm not. Some people question my marriage. Some people like, well, I don't even think they married. Somebody even tried to look up our marriage license. But see, you didn't know where to look. It's public record, I'm sure, but they didn't know where to look. You didn't know what to put in there, But if you can find it, you can find it. Find it. I mean, if you want to know and you really just skeptical, you can find it. If you want to find it, there's ways to find it. I mean, it's there, the marriage license. I mean, shit. But I'm not gonna help you find it. I'm not, because I mean, if you that desperate to know for real, go look and go get it. But I'm not gonna aid you in it. I don't have that need to do that, because that'll be dumb. I know I'm married. I know I've been with my husband's hell. If I'm shit, I know what it is. That's all that matters. I told you I was married. You don't want to believe it. You go find out how to find the shit and confirm it. And then you'll confirm it. And then you'll say, oh yeah, you go spend some money and some time just to say, you know what? They are married. It's the stupidest thing ever. It's like, what are you trying to prove to yourself? Are you married? Because usually people who like to take those extremes, they don't be married, child, wishing they could. That's why they don't believe in it, because you ain't never had that experience. Especially women. You ain't never had a man propose to you and actually follow through. See, y'all have proposals, but you ain't never really had a man that took you serious enough to say, yeah, I really want you to be my wife. He was just telling you that shit to keep on hitting it. And make you think he gonna propose so he can keep hitting it for a little longer. Then when you finally get some sense in your head and realize he bullshitting, then he leave and he done got all that he wanted. He done screwed to the last minute till you really finally realize, oh, this ninja really don't want me. Then you're still by yourself. So, child, listen. I give advice. I use my life experiences to try to give a bit of advice that I think is helpful, and that's that. If that's what this channel does and it helps people in some way, shape, or form, I'm with it, and I'm happy with that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna help you prove something that I already know. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't make any sense. Because, people going to believe what they want to believe. And like I said, the world is so toxic now. People are so used to toxicity and liars and scammers. That's all they think that's all they think that exists. So when you see something outside of that, it's shocking. Oh my God. This can't be true. Because ninjas don't get married. Oh my God, you act like marriage is a whole new phenomenon. When it shouldn't be treated. Marriage is normal. It should be normalized in our communities, but it's not, to the point people can't believe it. 2 black ninjas together and they married? Oh my God, where they do that at? It's like, oh, it's a surprise. Like, goddamn, because you ain't never seen it, and you ain't seen a lot of it. So is that shocking to you? Why is it not that shocking in other communities? Why are they expected to get married? It's a normal thing. But in a black community, it's like the apocalypse. Oh my God. A married couple, and they've been married for 20-something, they've been together over 20-something years. Shut the front door. I know you lying. This can't be real, It's such an anomaly. It's so shocking, because black people don't do that. That's how they look at it. Like, even a pastor told us one time, y'all married? We was in Walmart years ago. Pastor, like, that's because our kids were younger then. Our children were smaller. So we would put them, they were like, I don't know if we had like 4 of them at the time, and they were small. So we would put them all in the same basket. Because we was going, I would put them, we'll put them all in like one basket. They were like toddlers, like 2, 3, 4, something like that. 2, 4, 5, that age. And we would just put them all in one basket. And my husband would push another basket for the groceries or whatever. And we would have it in one basket, and the pastor stopped us. That's all your kids? And we're like, yeah. And I'm smiling because I'm like, I'm used to it. And I'm like, yeah, that's together? My husband was like, yes, together. No outside children? We're like, no, Pastor, was that what you expecting, Pastor? All together. You got one wife. Yes, I never been married before. My husband never been married before. We married to each other. My husband don't have no outside kids. We don't have no outside kids. We got our kids together. Oh my God. He looking like he's shocked. And he said he's never met a guy that was married to one woman and they all had the kids together. He said he never experienced it. I say, damn, Pastor, you a pastor. Ain't nobody in your church doing it the way you preaching and telling them to do it. They ain't really following you in the Lord. You know? It's crazy. It is crazy. Queen of Vibes, it's crazy. I told this story before. Everybody was like, what? It's just me, Q. Yeah, it ain't your business for sure. But it's just so shocking the way people think. But I get it. You know, I've had several experiences like that. When I told people how many kids I have, they looking at me like they disappointed. And I'm like, bitch, I'm married. And ain't for my husband. I'm sorry for the language, y'all. But that's what I was thinking. Just because, and then she had a child, never been married. Her child was the same age as my daughter at the time. And she had never been married and she just was a single mother. See, that's why they'd be so shocked. Like it's some type of strange event. Like, no, it should be normalized. It's crazy though. It really is, you know. Generalization is everywhere. Have fingerprint, but no one have the same fingerprint. Be fruitful and multiply is exactly what we did. And we did it enough. We did it, and it ain't no, you know, and so I think I fulfilled my purpose. We've been fruitful and we multiplied and we've given our we've given our a contribution to society and the world because we brought enough people in here, and that's we did what we did what we were supposed to do. So child, that no doubts about that. You know, so yeah, it's just crazy to me. But this is why I have my opinion, and I've always had an opinion. It just wasn't on social media. I would talk to my husband about my opinion so much. He was like, you know what? You need to go live and you need to talk. Because maybe he was tired of me talking to him about it. So yeah, he like, oh yeah, you need to get on this YouTube and talk. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I've been telling people, look, my husband encouraged me to do this because I guess he probably was tired of me telling him all my opinions and talking to him about all this. He didn't want to hear all that. He like, look, you go ahead and and to the point where we did lives. We did lives for about a year, almost a year and a half. When we was talking about Umar Johnson, we did that together for like about a year. He was like, okay, I'll start it off with you. So get you used to talking to people because I was very shy. He's like, let's get you used to talking. And we did that, got used to it. They was like, okay, now go ahead. You can do it. You go ahead, you do it yourself. Talk about what you want to talk about. Get your opinions out there. So I attribute this to my husband pushing me to do it. And I'm grateful he did because I was very shy. I did not want to talk about none of my opinions to strangers. I didn't want to talk to people because I didn't want to feel like, I was too opinionated or had something to say because I know people, wouldn't always agree with what I was worried about people agreeing with me and, hearing what I'm saying. And I was afraid of backlash and things of that nature. Now I don't give a damn. It's like now, so it made me stronger, like it made me comfortable to be able to talk and give my opinion without caring what people, because I don't care what people think. It becomes one of those things you grow and you build. And as you get older too, you realize none of this, whatever your opinion is yours, mine is mine. We're all entitled to them. We don't all have to agree. That's why I say that, And so, it's a process for a lot of people. So I understand where people are coming from because I didn't always think like this completely. I was very quiet and shy and I wouldn't say anything. So now, it's a totally different ball game. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I accept other people's opinions, because I understand we're not all the same. And it's not a personal thing. It's just, it's life, you know? But anyway, I could go on and on and on and on. And I got to get off of here, y'all, because, Lord, I got to, what time it is, child? I got to go cook. Well, I ain't got to cook today, but I want to make some, either some jambalaya rice. I want to make some rice. I want to make some jambalaya rice and some chicken. But it don't take me long to do that. So I think I got to get off here so I could go do that. Shout out to all of you guys for watching, for supporting the channel. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me and listening to what I got to say. I appreciate y'all for that. Make sure you guys hit the like button on your way out. If you haven't already, which I think y'all did. Thank y'all so much for the likes. Also, make sure you share the streams. Also, watch the videos that are posted on the channel. I'll be uploading some more videos either later on today or tomorrow. So make sure you guys are supporting by watching the videos that are on the channel already. Make sure you share and like those, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content or go live, y'all. Once again, I appreciate y'all so much. Shout out to everybody who gave super chats or cash apps to support the channel. I appreciate you so much. Everybody who hit the like button, that helps as well. Everybody who subscribed to the channel. Everybody who ever bought a piece of merchandise from me, t-shirts. Also, go over and support and get a t-shirt if you haven't already. Everybody who supported in any kind of way, I appreciate you so much. It does go a long way. All right. So once again, thank y'all so much for watching. I will be back really, really soon. I'm not going to promise anything, but just keep that bell turned on so you'll be notified when I do go live. Anytime I go live, for the most part, it'll be 1:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you have that locked in. All right. So thank y'all once again. Y'all be safe out here in these streets, and I'll catch you later. Mwah. Bye.